Did the countdown. UN Space Sail Wolf Squadron. As your World Commander Wolftan on your world. We're doing another one, guys, an anime spotlight, and today we'll be talking about a very sleeper anime called Now and Then Here and There. Now, this anime has a bit of a an interesting topic to say about itself, and it's also a very interesting mixed conceptual type of storytelling, full of interesting topics to talk about, full of interesting settings and deep character dynamics. Just all around, just one of those animes that you either will see once and probably forget about it, or it will come back to you and you probably revisit it just for the sake of just revisiting it. I have with me my compadres, minus one, maybe two. We have the Schooner Tuna.
Coming at you live from a secret government facility buried deep underground, this is Schooner Tuna. I was very impressed with this anime. It's like you said in the back chat, it's dystopian sci-fi with a bit of a Heart of Darkness vibe to it, and I can't wait to get started.
Standing underneath me is the Maverick Hunter Saint, Brian Gil Martin.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all having a great time. And yes, we will be talking about Now and Then Here and There. And oh boy, this one is not for the faint of heart, as Schooner Tuna alluded to. This is a very dystopian anime with some Heart of Darkness, but it does have a more or less positive outcome to it. So we'll talk more about this as we go. And over to our next guest.
We have Fish Chozo. Now, I don't have no nickname for him, but whatever. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
I'm Fish Chozo. Fish Chozo, coming from my workshop here in southern Georgia, the most boring place on the planet Earth, at least as far as I can tell.
That's an awesome introduction. Cool. Let me welcome the chat. We have Team Ghost Planet with us. That's their alter ego. We all know who they are, but we will not say it here for the sake of saving their channel.
Right.
And Eloise Dorado, the Bear of the North, was with us in the back room, but she has joined us within the audience. Hopefully, we'll get her interested in this anime, because she did voice her interest in watching this anime. Hopefully, I'll share her the free link for her to watch it with ad free. I'm not going to name the place. I've already named it a few times, but I'm going to keep it for the sake of us having nice things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The last thing we need is for anybody to freaking shut that shit down. I mean, granted, we got other places to sell the high seas for, but shit, so far that place has been good to me. So I would like to keep that. But anyways, yeah, hopefully when we get done, she'll be watching that and checking it out. Now, the only reason why I brought up this one is because a lot of you guys, you guys notice when people mention anime, they only talk about the popular anime, right? There's hardly anybody ever.
Really? You think so? No way.
Of course.
Of course it is. That's normies for you.
Anyways, I'm just sitting here, just like when I hear shit like that, I'm like, damn, they haven't gotten their dick wet.
Mm-hmm.
Such virgins they are. They're such virgins.
Well,
But yeah,
you gotta know that anime has a broad range of genres too. I mean, they're gonna go with what's the most universal and what's the most safe and marketable. I mean, you got your universal classics like Pokemon, and then you got your lesser known stuff like this.
yeah. Now, one thing, the reason why I built around Anime Spotlight is to bring about anime that people have not heard about at all, or never even knew existed. Now and Then Here and There is definitely one that people never knew existed. The same way as Grave of the Fireflies, which is another Miyazaki production, which, oh boy, I can't wait to talk about that one.
I have been heard Grave of the Fireflies. I just never watched it.
It's the most overlooked Miyazaki movie. They always think Miyazaki. You're thinking magic fairies, science fiction, all that kind
the
of stuff.
non-Miyazaki film of the Miyazaki films, completely.
It's basically the Jackie Brown of the whole of the Miyazaki movie.
Yeah, It's one to check out to be for sure. Like goodness gracious, I only watched that movie like 3 times already. Still
Oh,
gets me.
you must be a glutton for punishment. I can only see that movie once. I mean,
Right,
that was like a requiem for a dream for me.
right.
Mhm.
But we're not here to talk about Grave Fireflies. Now I was thinking about maybe doing a rewatch or maybe doing an anime spotlight for Grave Fireflies too, just to raise awareness of this story. But we'll talk about that some other time. Uh, let's get down to it. Let's get down to the basic plot of Now and Then Here and There. Scooter, you want to take the lead on this one?
Well, absolutely. So we start off the story with our famous, our archetype, shonen hero. His name's Shu, but it's not his full name, but we know him as Shu. Okay, so he starts off as an average kid. He gets up in the morning. He has breakfast with his family. He goes to school. He's a competitive person. He's got a crush, and he one day coming home after a lesson, which he totally botched, kendo,
Yeah.
playing a kendo sparring session. He totally botches it because he has no coordination, no control. He has no coordination. He's too.
He's impulsive. He has no self control, and he just basically charges in like a bull at a china shop.
Basic. Yeah, exactly. Very good. Right there.
And by the way, his full name is Shuzo Matsutani.
Yep. I just
Exactly.
sent you guys a cheat sheet in the private chat for you guys to remember their names.
Right.
Exactly. His name is Shu. Anyway, he is a Shu. He is Shu. Anyway,
He's
one day,
basically the benevolent hero archetype, which is going to be on display as the series goes on. You
he's
really
got
get.
you're right. He's got everything. He's got confidence. He's got support. He's confident. He's supportive. He's willing to throw himself in harm's way for others, and he never compromises on his convictions. He has a clear definition of what right and wrong is. He is
Mhm.
a he is a flat arc character. He is the same at the end as he is in the beginning. But that does not mean that a flat arc character is boring. He is anything but boring.
Nope.
Yeah, it's like a Paddington. So
Exactly. So he goes. So as he's going home after a hard day.
Wouldn't that be a hang on? Wouldn't that be a good thumbnail to put on this stream? It's like Patton if he was in a combat zone.
No, if Paddington was in Game of Thrones.
That's
That
it.
works.
Oh God, Paddington.
Like
anyway,
I'm saying the concept. Think about it like that. If Patton was in MASH.
oh man.
But go ahead, guys. Continue, Schooner.
Well, one day after coming home, he sees a girl sitting on the giant smokestacks. He climbs up to the smokestack adjacent to her. He's trying to get her attention. She's just staring off into the distance, and he discovers finally
God love how he
after.
does it.
I know he starts he's shouting to her, he's yelling, he starts throwing whatever he can over to get her attention, and he's not letting up until finally she gives him the time of day, which I love. That's a typical shonen protagonist, by the way.
Can we just appreciate how realistic that was?
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah.
in most cases, a lot of shows, movies, even anime, where people are at a far distance and yet they can understand what the fuck they're saying.
Uh-huh.
I remember that joke in Shazam when Shazam couldn't hear Dr. Savannah doing his rant.
Mhm.
Kung Fu Panda 2 did it first, though.
So,
But yeah,
so after finally getting her attention, she finally decides to reveal her name to him, but he can't hear her, so he tries reading her lips. He discovers the girl's name is
Lala Roo.
Lala.
You're breaking
Yeah.
out there, Scooney.
Oh, I didn't know he broke up.
Because here come the mechs. We got mechs
Oh, yeah.
coming in.
Oh yeah.
We got mechs coming in under the command of some brutal dictator, under the hands of a
we will not
brutal
mention him
dictator.
just yet. We'll-
Right.
Nope.
But
No.
let's build up
But
real quick. So let
Abelia.
me take the.
It's commanded by General Abelia.
Damn it!
You sounded exactly like Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Good one, man.
So far, this has become a comedy in itself. Damn. Ah,
In stark
shit.
contrast with the anime we're covering here.
Look, man. I was going to explain how the genre shifts here and there and now and then. Excuse me.
Now and then, here and there.
Yeah. Throughout this whole anime, mind you.
Right.
What Schooner is basically describing is your typical anime action sequence with the mech. And beautiful design for the mechs.
Oh yeah.
That was a cool design, actually.
First, you're thinking slice of life because he's home, he goes to school, he botches a lesson, he's walking, sees a girl, talks to her, and then it jumps right into sci-fi.
Yeah, just again, genre shift. Like you missed one crucial detail about that whole genre shift too, was the fact that you almost thought it was going to be a slice of life, because he just go like the moment he talks to her, he started pointing out things familiar to his home. You know, he knows the people around his neighborhood, especially the guy who sells him the food that his favorite Japanese food, pastry. I think it was a pastry or something like that. I can't remember right now for the life of me. You know, you start that way, but then again, like I said, it goes straight into action anime, complete with an anime action song sequence coming in.
Yeah.
And you're just you're like, normally somebody like Shu would have ran from that situation, but no, he goes right into it. He doesn't question what the fuck is going on.
Well, and that's what I love,
Right.
because you think a normal person would run away, and at first he's just watching, then he looks over, and when she is grabbed by the anime, she mouths something, and he realizes what she mouths is, "Help me." And what does he do? He jumps off a smokestack onto a mech dragon. That's
Just straight up whack the dude.
I know.
Just grabs a pipe and whacks the
He
dude.
ran all the way up its spine just to get at that dude too. Like it was
I'm like,
a
dude, you got that
guardrail or
much
something.
energy for a kid. Shit.
I'm like, first off, the fact that he jumps off a smokestack and jumps on the back of a mech dragon, if he missed, he would have been dead. No anime.
I'm like, you got lucky. That's a lucky shot for you, buddy.
Must have been
Also-
taking hits from Super Mario or some shit.
No, I can't. But like, also, I forgot to mention that it did air in the States on Monday on the Sci-Fi Channel. Just letting you guys know.
Well, that would
I know
explain it, because this is definitely not your anime that would be on Toonami.
Exactly.
Nope.
Well, if they did, they would have to alter some shit, dude.
Well,
That's over a lot.
No, you can't. No, I will say this. This series, which I'm gonna say also felt more like watching an elongated movie than it is actually a series, because it plays out like a movie. But this series earns its R rating.
Mm-hmm.
I
Excuse
mean,
me.
it doesn't do that though in the first. It doesn't do that though in the first episode. It very much eases you in. So anyway,
Let's speed past the action sequence, which is now once the as the battle keeps going, he gets transported completely along with the with the bad guys into this new world, and it's all, as I briefly mentioned earlier, it's all sci-fi. The unfortunate part though is that it's an entirely desert planet.
Yep.
And then go ahead, Fizz. Introduce the first major villains that we see first, which is, as you say, go ahead.
General Belia.
Yeah. Belia. Her introduction as a villain is that she's very cold. She's very commanding and domineering. But we also get a bit of a layer later on with her later on the series, which pretty soon we're going to introduce our next villain.
But what I like about her is that she already starts off the series very imposing. She stands in a commanding manner. She directs, and she is intimidating as well. I mean, it's clear that when our hero takes out two minions, she gets a handle on the situation and shows that no, she's not a pushover like the other two, and she just tosses him aside, and then they teleport back to their world. The problem is he gets caught in the black. He gets caught in the range, and he teleports back with them.
Right.
And then they bring us to their world, and yeah, it's very Mad Max, not steampunk, but definitely tech that's a bygone era of technology.
Exactly.
Okay, 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 I remember that Shu and Lala Rule. I'm trying to remember their name. Shu and Lala Rule run, and Lala Rule gets captured, but she loses her necklace to Shu, and the necklace is important.
Yep.
As we get later.
Very important. Yeah, that before we even again got to I'm about to name drop his name. Let me control myself.
Mm-hmm.
We got this long sequence of basically introducing characters that we're going to be seeing many more times as the series progresses. He bumps into yeah, well, yeah, essentially what we're essentially we'll get deep into that when we talk about the location that he's in, because the anime spends a lot of time in that location. By the way,
I'm going to say this.
That location is Hollywood.
Yep.
Brian.
Well, here's the thing. He's teleported to the land called he's teleported to a place called Hollywood, but we don't know much about the world.
Right. But yeah, he bumps into, again, like what Fish says, essentially our child soldiers. He bumps into essentially one character that's like a bit of a contrast to him, Nubika, voiced by pre-Yugi Dan Green.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he bumped essentially into Yugi Moto.
Yeah. And I could take this one here. So what happened is Nabuka he was one who was a soldier in Hollywood Army, and he's what, unlike Shu, he's very restrained, he's very upright, tends to just follow orders simply because he is a soldier there, and he's doing this under the premise that he will one day get to go home, but as we all know, it's not quite true.
What I like about the character when we're introduced to Nabuka is that he's a step down from Abelia. Is that how you say her name? Abelia.
Abelia.
Yeah, Amelia. He's a proto her, if that makes any sense.
Pretty much. He's what you
not
call neutral in a way, because he's again only following orders. He doesn't agree with the stuff that he has to do, but he sort of has to do it.
He obeys without question. Let's just say that.
Exactly.
He does.
And then there's another character who does agree with that stuff, all the evil stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
his name is.
We'll get to him in a bit.
Taboo.
Yeah, taboo. Yeah.
That taboo has the word taboo in it. Kind of describes him in a nutshell.
Yep.
There's also the smallest, the youngest, the baby of the bunch, Boo.
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 No, not
who's
that
essentially black representation.
Well, he does more than just that. I mean, he kind of is there to represent how hard it is for the child soldiers to go through, what child soldiers go through, and how hard it is.
You know what? I'm just going to say this right now, just since we're already in the stream. For a series that really does portray horror and terror, this show, in spite of it all, has some very positive and upbeat messages.
Which we'll get into, but before we do that, let's introduce the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Hey, welcome back, buddy.
Good afternoon, all.
Now, before we continue, Dominic, give us your impressions of Now and Then, Here and There. And please do not spoil, because we're already at the part where he's teleported, and we haven't introduced the main villain yet. So please do not drop his name.
We're at the part where Shu got teleported to the other world,
and he's running essentially with Lala Roo. But give us your impressions so far.
Well, my impression is after watching it live for the first time in some time, time ago, I was I had a feeling that it's similar yet different to Berserk. Like in spite of it being a horror, being like a horror and like fantasy themed story, and also touches more onto the terror aspect as Scooter mentioned. There is like hope and optimism in now and then here and there that I appreciate. It's much like Berserk from Kintaro Miura.
By the way, Lala Rue is the girl pictured on our screen right now, just for anybody who for visual confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was saying about putting some on-screen pictures, but that's gonna take too much time. I should plan this out a little bit more. I'll get better in the future. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I think it's high time we do, since we're in the 20 mark, we might as well mention the main villain, which is King or Emperor Hamdo.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
The man
And
King
King,
Hamdo.
Mm-hmm.
thank you. Who would like to describe his introduction? Because after this point, everything's quiet down. Shu has failed. They already got Lalaru in their possession, or at least they're still in pursuit of her. But Abella it has contacted him. But who would like to take the reins on this one?
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
Just think of a
Well,
man-child.
before we do that,
Yeah.
let me point out. We talked about the switch genres, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now we're going to be talking about the tone shifts.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
There's an
So-
epic tone shift.
So please, Schooner, illustrate with your words the tone shifts in this anime with the introduction of King Hondo, or Mad King Hondo, as Fizz's favorite nickname of him right now, as right now.
Okay, you're gonna love this. It starts off, you think like he's this cold, charismatic, very calculating bad guy. With coming from, I mean, they pull no punches. He's got
He's a disembodied voice.
At first he's a disembodied voice. The Shu, he loses Lala Roo, he falls, and then he is able to escape. Discovers he's in a strange world. Lala Roo loses her necklace. Shu has it, and then Shu is captured. But in the pursuit of getting captured, he loses the necklace. So he's brought before the Mad King Hamdo. And at first, you see he wakes up and he sees a cat staring back at him. Oh my gosh! Initial shock, freaking out. It's evil mustache twirling bad guy with cat. And he's first a disembodied voice, and then he's walking over, very calm, like saying, "Where is the necklace? Where is the necklace?" And he's like, "The necklace. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is." And then he totally does a 180. He becomes like a 10-year-old child, like, "No, I want the necklace."
He strangles his own cat in the friggin' process too.
No, the cat was already dead.
Well, the thing is, the one thing that you missed, Schooner, is that when Abelia was talking to him on the intercom, you pretty much give us a visual. We've already getting a visual of how his fucking personality flips.
Mm-hmm.
But we get that audibly through his conversation with Obelia, where she tells him two instances of success and failure. They have Lala Roo, but they don't have the necklace. He asks her, does she have the necklace on her? And she says no, she doesn't. And you just hear you hear him breathing, just breathing heavily, and heavily his breathing gets more erratic, and he picks up the cat. You hear the cat going meow meow, and then all of a sudden you hear a snap.
Yep.
Breaks its damn neck.
Off screen, but
Yep.
that's enough to unsettle you. The sound, because he's whimpering as he's doing it. He's like, and you hear the cat. That is what you hear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mind you, I do believe when they showed that on Air and a Monday, they cut that out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because bro, I did not know he did that. When I looked this shit up on TV Tropes, I'm like, he did that?
Well, that's the thing too, is that's one of the things that I like about this show, is that they more imply than directly show, which sometimes is better. Showing, not
Oh goodness, I can't wait to talk about that too pretty soon.
telling.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But when we meet him,
Mm,
he's all angry. He's like this little child, and he throws his cat down on the floor, revealing the cat to be dead, and
mm,
showing that he had already killed the cat, and then positioned that cat right like there to intimidate him.
Mm-hmm.
He even
And
put his foot on his head.
yep,
Yep.
and he knocks him down. He puts his foot on his head, and he's just like saying, "You will tell me where the necklace is. I know you know where it is." And he calls in Ambelia, tells him, "Take him down to the interrogation room. I'm sure he'll talk. His lips will loosen up there."
And boy, does he go through the ringer.
Well, yeah. First thing they do, they put him. Go ahead. Go ahead.
They torture him right then. They whip him. They tie him up, hang him from a pole. You name it.
Yep.
You
And
name
then
it!
and then they
We
just
got
throw.
we got dungeons, whips, bricks, potatoes, yams. You name it. They do a lot of shit. I'm surprised they didn't waterboard his ass.
Maybe they
after-
didn't use sulfuric acid or something. Jeez.
Well, it also shows the world. They're already establishing what this world's limitations are through these scenes alone, which I love. Is that it's a dystopian world. What we're seeing is a former empire because what I love about Mad King Hamdo is that he explains the situation to us in this long drawn out monologue, which everybody thought would be boring and stuff, but the way it's edited and shot, it's very well done. He talks about how he was once king of this world and how he once ruled over it, and then suddenly the world turned against him, infighting, and he lost his empire, but now it's up to Lala Roo because they need water. This is a desert world, and all of their technology is pretty much powered by water.
Let's get a little into the details of the world right now. The world's a desert planet where there's barely any water. It's almost like it's funny that we talked about Dune in our last discussion.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I actually think this anime took. I'm convinced Denis Villeneuve did this anime because of the way it's shot.
Another thing is, I noticed it don't rain on that planet because
Nope.
even at night, even though normally in deserts it rains at night, but it don't rain on that planet.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Which now I guess we can get into why the necklace is important because that necklace houses all the water of the world, all the reserves of water.
Yeah.
Water is a huge commodity in this world too. You can only eat what you're given if you're in service of the military. Which, again, like I mentioned earlier, we're majority of the anime is taking place in, as Brian so recklessly name dropped, Hollywood. Ha ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like we're getting a little bit insight to the military life, the day in life of the child soldiers, and what essentially they do to women who are not part of their society.
Precisely, because after she was interrogated, they said, "All right, we've had enough torturing him for one day." They throw him in prison, and in prison, this is where Shu meets a girl named Sarah, who is
Sarah Ringwalt.
Yeah, and this is where I get into my problem with the show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hang on, because Sarah, it's revealed, is actually not from their world. She's from Shu's world.
And she's American.
Specifically.
She's from America.
She's American, and she looks similar to Lala Roo, but is not Lala Roo.
Yeah, the moment there was a moment where Shu mistakes her for Lala Roo. He's so happy to see her, but like he doesn't realize that that's not the same girl.
No, yeah, kind of easy.
Well, he just had the head beat out of him, so it was probably a little delirious from that.
Which in the wiki, I gotta voice this real quick. In the wiki, it says that it's a potential future of the planet Earth, which I call bullshit on that.
I know.
Yeah,
you guys read the wiki, right? I'm like that's bullshit.
No,
because
it's a different world.
It has to be.
Yeah, because I was yeah, I would love to edit that shit out and say that's a parallel world.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a
It's a complete parallel world where potentially there could be another shoe somewhere out there, either that or he's dead already. And Sarah Ringwald is basically Lala Rue in another world.
Hmm.
hmm.
I don't think they ever mentioned time travel at all in this fucking anime.
You know,
They have not.
Yeah.
it don't really
No,
make no
Hey,
sense either.
it's only
there's
parallel.
because
Because if
go
he's
ahead.
in the future, then why doesn't just King Hondo just go back in time and redo everything?
Exactly.
Exactly. So
They,
yeah, that's a blight on the fucking Wikipedia article. It's like
mhm.
Yeah, so
future
somebody had an
bullshit.
agenda there.
I'm like future bullshit. That's a parallel world, dumbass.
And it's,
Mm, yeah, it's
I
like
could have
I
sworn
was.
if you look
yeah,
anywhere else, it specifically says it's a parallel world.
Mm,
yeah, it sounds like whoever was working on that page like needs to get that fixed.
They're
mm.
never gonna
Yeah.
do that. They're lazy as hell.
Yeah. And then I said agenda earlier,
I mean, it's also one of the reasons why the co-founder of Wikipedia has left because Wikipedia has lost its way. It's no longer like trustworthy as it used to be.
Mm.
But what was I going to say? Getting back to the series. So we
Right.
meet. Yeah, so we meet Sarah. She's from America. She's from the same world as Shu, and Shu is telling her, "Hey, you know what? Everything is going to be okay. We'll find a way out of this. Everything's going to be all right. You can trust me on this one." And that's when the
Did
guard
that
comes
give you
back.
guys a sense of warmth?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And this is because he's doing the shonen. Okay, the shonen hero, despite everything bad that's happened to him so far, he's refusing to let this change him. He's still saying, "I'm going to find Lala Rue. I'm going to get out of here, and we'll all escape, and then we'll all go home together." It's like that's the optimist.
And then
And then the guard comes in, grabs Shu. They take him for another round of interrogation, and Amelia just says, "You know what? Let's put him on the pole." So they put him on the pole, hang him outside, and just then and there, they're under attack.
yep,
And
Yep. This is when we get
Shu,
our first major battle between the Hollywood forces and some new
unknown
people as well.
force.
some
Mm.
Right.
unknown force.
You'll never,
Exactly.
unfortunately, you'll never know who attacked them in the first place.
Mm.
That
Well,
was the only retaliation that they ever gotten in that history of that world.
but
Yeah.
it's important to know that Mad King Hamdo says that he used to rule the world. They rebelled. Now there's a whole bunch of other people out there infighting. This world is in chaos. I need to bring it back to order, and I'm the only one who can do it. They constantly come after me, but I'm still alive. You know, all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
That grandiose about him. He's basically,
Mm.
in a way, I like to
Delusional
compare him to
psychopathic man child.
the way how he rules and the way how it's ruled over there. It's reminiscent of Mao's doctrine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you
Mm.
guys get that Mao connection?
Yeah. Oh, I totally got that. Oh, I know for a fact Hollywood is clearly a metaphor for Nazis. These guys are Nazis.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
I
No,
like the I like the
I didn't get that. I didn't get that kind of vibe from him. What kind of vibes I got was I thought of more of a South America dictatorship banana republic vibe.
Well,
mm,
I think they based their idea for Hollywood on the Rwandan genocide as well.
I know they did. They did.
there's a lot of atrocities that they linked into this
Mm.
story, but I
Yeah,
like
but how the state, how the world
I mean,
is, how the government is, I see it more like a South American thing. What's his
Yeah.
name?
mm, Chavez.
Hugo Chavez, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yeah, I think it's Chavez. I'm not sure.
I mean, his
Yeah,
design kind of
Mm.
is reminiscent to. I wouldn't say Hitler because that's easy. That's far too damn easy. But I like to think
Mm.
I like to think he's a combination of Mao and Stalin.
Yeah, I definitely see like
I
Stalin in the
hmm,
design because
I
of the
can def
long
I can
coat
definitely
and
see.
pants and everything else.
What you gonna say, Dominic?
Yeah, and no, I'm saying like, I can see the resemblance of Mao and Stalin like with his character because like since this show like touches on universal themes that people can connect with without being brown being on with this guy. He represents like represents like like a variety of of atrocities and people that were responsible for those atrocities.
Exactly.
But I got the Mal connection through mostly because remembering Cat's detailed review of Mal's book.
Oh,
Mhm.
That one line saying everyone and everything is in service to me and only me. And you hear Honda always say that
Wait,
me.
it's all about
Mhm.
him in his own mind.
wait, you're saying wait, so you're saying you said Cat reviewed Mal's book?
Yeah. Well, not I wouldn't say she reviewed
Wow,
it per se. In one of their streams, her and Ishi streams, she brought up Mal and she read a I guess a book that he wrote, and
oh,
it was quite
huh.
interesting to get inside of his head for a change, and that's why I kind of made that connection because that's basically what was stated in the book is that everyone is nothing more but in service to me. Everything that they do is in service to me. And I hear Hamdo
What?
say that, and I'm like, that sounds a little bit like Mal.
Mhm.
Hmm.
In other words, he's very narcissistic and
Hmm.
doesn't
He's
Oh,
a
doesn't
he's a
acknowledge
narcissistic
anyone
is an
but himself.
understatement. You know.
he's a megalomaniac.
Yeah.
He's a
That
megalomaniac with the
that too.
personality of a with the personality of a 10-year-old.
Yeah, maybe even younger than that.
Well, now that you guys bring that up, here's my theory about Hamdo and how he kind of came to being a bit, and
All right.
we can move on after I explain this.
Hmm.
Um, and by moving on, we're gonna get back to that little battle that they had.
Yeah,
Talk
because
about the
it's very
All right.
important. It's very important. It's
uh,
significant.
yeah, technology and resources. We'll get into that too later on. But let me explain Hamdo a bit. What I glean from Hondo, especially the way how he's dressed, how he moves, how his mannerisms is. I'm going to assume Mal Mal Hamdo is probably 14 years old, despite how he looks.
Really
I
now?
think, I
Hmm.
think, you want my honest opinion, he's lost his mind that he's reverted to a child.
That
I
could
thought
Or
that
so.
could
Same
be
two.
thing
also,
too.
but I like to think that he's actually he's actually 14 despite looking the way he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like he came into position at 12 years old.
And he never grew out. Oh, you know what? That would make sense. He never grew out of that,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
he's had no. He's basically been told his whole life. Yeah, I could see that.
But that's my theory about him. Because there's like of this. Let me point this out for the people in the back. This anime is is very short. It's fairly short. It's 13
It's something
episodes,
I know, and I'm still reeling about that one.
and barely anything is really given as far as information is concerned, which is it's probably a good or a bad thing, and for the most part, probably for the best.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But it also I like it that way because it actually makes my mind tick in a way. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
because when I look at Honda, I'm like, you know something? He's probably younger than he looks,
I
and,
think
and
Yeah.
mentally, I think he is, but
mentally,
physically,
yeah.
He's got the mind of a child, certainly.
mm-hmm.
What I thought about King Hamdo is that okay, he used to be a sane man, but then the pressure drove him to insanity to what he is now.
Yeah,
Could be.
exactly. I mean, he's a guy who's clearly lost his empire and thinking he can get it all back.
That could also be another case. We can do it. You know what? Since people like to do our little villain like our villain stuff, we can do some villain spotlights one of these days.
Yeah,
You guys up
he's
for
a
that?
total. Oh yeah, he's a total. He's totally the opposite of most villains that you see these days.
Do some hero and villain spotlights. I'm you know I'm gonna create a poll for that,
Yeah.
especially on Twitter and DeviantArt. Wait, DeviantArt doesn't know I have a YouTube. Fuck that then. I'm gonna create a poll. They're gonna vote. we'll see how that goes. Let's just give it that. But that's again, that's why I gleaned from Hondo. He's basically Joffrey if he lived.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If somehow he lived and Cersei died.
hmm
Yep. Like the Samuelai's comic there, short is good. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword depending on how you want to write your story.
Mhm.
hmm
And that's another tip for anybody. It doesn't matter, like guys. There are times like if you guys want to do that epic, I will suggest I would take Ishii's advice. Start with short stories
hmm
Mhm.
and work your way up there because that's a good testing bed to your writing right
Yeah.
there. But let's move on, shall we?
So
Right.
yeah, we're at the point where there's a big firefight, and we get to see how Hollywood works. You know how they function and how they fight, and it was despite turning the tide, this fight was a costly one.
Yeah.
They also forgot that Shoe was still on the damn pole.
Mm,
Well, you know why they lost so many soldiers, right?
hmm
Basically, it's Hondo's fault. Sure. Well, in a
mm.
way.
Yep.
You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, they basically lost a weapon into the battlefield to just nuke everybody on the battlefield, knowing it would kill their own soldiers as well as the enemies.
hmm
Basically,
Did,
think of like when Kefka poisoned Doma in Final Fantasy VI, and that's basically what you're getting.
hmm
did you guys get a bit of a second Renaissance Part 2 vibe out of that battle
Yeah, I did.
without the visceral aspect to second Renaissance Part 2?
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
what the hell are you talking about?
Second Renaissance Part 2 is from the Animatrix.
yeah. The
Oh,
Animatrix.
It
Yeah, I
uh,
didn't
it's
see the
basically
Animatrix.
part of a two-part anthology episode within the anthology movie that details the human machine war.
mm,
hmm
If you guys are Matrix fans, which I highly recommend you guys watch Animatrix.
Yeah, it's a good series.
okay,
Mhm.
okay,
Uh,
um, okay, okay. Then after that battle was over, Shu was then forced into the military,
To
to be a
replenish
child
their
soldier to
ranks.
replenish their ranks, and
yep.
we
Well,
get
but
introduced to
before that, something else happened. Um, before he's put back into prison, we see Sarah being escorted somewhere by the child soldiers, and
yeah,
she.
yeah. I hate that storyline. I don't want to talk
Yeah,
about it.
oh, well, it's a okay. Wolf, do you want to skip on to the next part, or do you want to focus on this?
Uh, I will briefly talk about it because it
Yeah.
does. It's again part of their society. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
Let me talk about it because this is the only problem I have with the show. The
Go ahead.
Sarah storyline is not only pointless but also incredibly dumb. Basically, the whole storyline is that okay, Sarah gets raped by a the nameless rapist guy soldier you see in every anime. Now,
Yeah.
Ah, you're downplaying the situation.
Mm-hmm.
She is
Mm.
used as breeding stock.
breeding advice. I know breeding stock. I know that, but
And not only that, it's not just that
Let me
soldier.
explain the context then, real quick. She is taken and she's
they use
literally
as breeding
being
stock.
she's she's
Breeding stock. A
she's
cow.
basically being well, yeah, she's basically a cow. Yeah, she's been given to selective soldiers
Mhm.
to
To be bred.
breed more soldiers to be bred.
To breed
Yeah.
more soldiers. To be bred more
So
soldiers. I know.
in greater detail, she's actually going through different varieties of soldiers. Now, I'm not trying to say that this is a smart move or anything, but it is viewed in a more realistic light. So the first soldier is more of a caveman,
Mm-hmm.
and the more he sees her, he immediately grabs her. And of course, you don't, which is really interesting. They don't really give any audible of what's going on. It's just you get
But
a
I
shot
mean,
of the two soldiers standing out the door, and that's it.
it's a
Another
still shot, and then we slowly back away, and then we don't see her again until Shu is thrown back into prison after his interrogation.
And he looks at her and she doesn't even want to look at him. He tries to approach her. She doesn't even want him to touch her.
He doesn't. No, she
Trying to
doesn't
look
even.
like an abused dog, basically.
Yeah,
She's
she
got
looks like.
scratches on her.
He doesn't
The ne-
crawl over to her. He's lying there and he's asking what happened. What happened?
and she
And
doesn't
then
even want to talk about it.
he doesn't even talk to him. Instead, she just cries and he passes out from the pain.
Yeah. The next soldier actually talks to her, asking her what's her name, like trying to strike a conversation with her. So slowly you kind of see a bit of humanity, but but it's still evil and wrong of what they're doing to her.
Well, because you see, here's the thing, and that's the thing too. I noticed is that the soldiers know what they're doing is wrong, but in order to try to make in order to make themselves feel less guilty, one soldier says to her, "What's her name?" Tries to talk to her. The other one actually presents her gifts, but it's clear these soldiers know what they're doing is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The guy
And the
who
final-
has to go
She's a
die.
sex slave, basically.
Yeah, that's
But-
basically what Sarah's been turned into.
Yeah, I hate the whole Sarah storyline because okay, she gets pregnant, of course, and
You jump
Hang on,
Save
let's-
it for later.
We got to
Save
save
that
that for
yeah,
so.
because that's another
So-
topic I want to discuss definitely.
Right.
So after he's thrown back into the prison and the battle's over, that's when he's drafted into the child soldiers because they need to replenish their ranks.
Wait.
So-
Let's finish the Sarah arc real quick.
Oh yeah, okay.
So what I want to bring up was the last soldier, which is he's this more arrogant, prideful soldier. He tries to attempt it now. Now at this point, she's awakened. Her
Yep.
fury just basically just explodes, and she takes her life into her own hands. It's more that gradual buildup of one who thought that their life was completely over the moment the horrible things are happening to her. There's even a scene where she spots the first rapist, and she just breaks down and cries.
Yeah.
But
This
that's
series
in a
handles-
future episode. But like
This
the
series
last
handles
soldier,
trauma. This series handles trauma very well.
yeah, it does. The last soldier, she ends up killing. Like she bashes she straight, she already like assaulted him, clawed him. Now he's on kill crazy mode. He was about to take it, but now he's ready to kill her. She ends up she doesn't. Now this was interesting how they did it. She wasn't no superhero or no super feminist icon, super strong woman, right?
Right.
She in a way fought smart. She kicked him where he's weak at. We all know where that position
yeah.
is.
The nether regions there.
And there's another thing too. This series pulls no punches. This is not a PC series. Okay, the men are punching these women. He's punching her. He's hitting her. He's forcing her down, and he puts a pillow over her face.
Yep.
And
She kicks him in the nards. She grabs first. She tries to grab a gun and was about to ready to run, which was her big mistake. She's supposed to neutralize the threat first. Because she did look at the gun twice, mind you. She like that's another thing that's going. I love that you pointed out trauma. Like the moment in the heat of the moment, she looks at it, which somebody would do, who's never been in combat before, looking at the weapon like what am I doing? Okay, fuck it. I don't know how to shoot this thing. I might as well just whack him with it. Which
With the butt of the rifle, right into the his nose too.
Can I also just say too that this is, while a lot of feminists would say that this is degrading, I'm saying that this is a projection of strength because Sarah decides at this point with this soldier, enough is enough. And she will no longer be a part of this. And I love that part where he dangles the treat in front of her, which is water, and she hasn't been, so far in the series, which we have so far as we've seen, she has not been fed or she has not been given any sort of rations whatsoever.
Right.
And he did that to try to keep her complacent, to try to keep her under his thumb. So what does she do? She picks that thing up and hits him with it. That's the thing. She's using the very gift as the weapon against the adversary.
Bashes his head in with the rifle and then puts one in his head.
Yeah.
No. She doesn't shoot him. I don't think she ever shot him.
She doesn't.
Okay.
She doesn't shoot him. She beats him to death with the butt of the rifle, and then she has a very real reaction to this. This isn't one of those moments where she stands up triumphant, "I'm a new woman." She stands up and is visibly shaken and scared and throws up because
I was just gonna say.
she brutally killed a man. Okay, so guy was a piece of shit, but you killed a guy. You killed somebody.
Now,
So,
those who probably watched it,
yeah.
those who will probably watch this anime, if and when they ever do, you might question how she's able to get out of Hollywood like that. Especially she's wearing the most baggiest clothes. Like basically the clothes that she wears as a disguise don't really fit her. It just looks like she's like one big dwarf. Like she's wearing dwarf clothes at this point.
Right.
And you will wonder how she's able to get past the soldiers. Mind you, this is happening while the soldiers are doing a full sweep of the whole facility looking for that damn pendant.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Their morale is all hang on, Schooner. Their morale is already low due to the losses that they lost in that fight.
Yep.
Abella, at this point, we didn't really touch upon her just yet. We'll get more into her a bit, but she's already overworked because Hondo's pushing her.
Right.
They're all overworked because Hondo's pushing them. So they ain't got time to be doing a head count for anybody at all.
Yeah.
And even if they do find the dead soldier in there, it's already too late by the time. Because by the time they already they find him out, she's already out. She's gone.
Well, that's another thing too. This also plays into Hamdo, because I now believe that maybe in his past Hamdo was a genius, because he comes to the realization, wait a minute, the kid is not telling us where the pendant is because we didn't find the pendant on his person, which means while he was running around the facility, he clearly lost it. So we just got to turn this facility over and look for him.
Before we get more into that, let's talk about the relationship between Nubuka and Shu versus Nubuka and Taboo, because again, most of this anime is taking place in Hollywood, and we're getting a little bit of life of a soldier in Hollywood. So let's get into the soldiers real quick, which again, most of them are made up of adults and children. Majority of the pawns, and I'm going to call them that, pawns, are children. They're separated by color distinction with their scars. The adults obviously are wearing the green ones, and the children are wearing the red ones. The adults are wearing different color uniforms than as opposed to the children, which is they're basically brown shirts, effectively. So I guess we could start with Nubuka and Taboo. Taboo, obviously, we didn't really get much into his character just yet, but let's briefly talk about his character. He is gung ho as shit in this military. He's very committed. But the moment when he has to gets a taste of real combat, he's the first one to start crying.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even after,
but he can't back it up.
Yep. And then after the battle is done, he's still acting all macho.
Well, and that's the thing too about Taboo and Nobuku. Is that what you said his name was?
Nabuka is his name.
Nabuka.
Sorry, Nabuka.
Nabuka knows that Taboo's a big talker, and Taboo knows. At least he has enough respect for Nabuka to not question him. Well, he does question. What I mean is, when Nabuka
he snides at him.
Yeah, he snides at him, but still follows the instructions by Nabuka. He defers to his leader. He defers to his leadership, but you can tell he's got a very Starscream mentality. He has eyes for leading, and he wants power.
Yeah, he wants to be on top of the world.
Yeah.
And what is really cool is also we get to see the relationship between Nabuka and Boo. Is that Boo is once again, he's a kid. He's like a child soldier who wants to not fight or anything like that. Nabuka looks after him like a big brother.
Yeah,
big brother vibe.
That big brother instinct between those two.
That's also very competent writing, which you see a lot in the show. Confident writing.
Yep. Yeah, because these days they actually know how to handle these situations instead of just, treating it like someplace to make a statement or something. They treat it very real.
They treat it very real, but I also noticed that when they're talking about hot button issues, they don't shy away from it. They go all in, because if this were made in the West, they would already try to be back up the show now. They would try to say, let's go back to a more friendlier tone. No. Just like Heart of Darkness, as the Wolf said, we're going further. We're gonna see this through to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to see the daily regiments of the child soldiers when Shu is indoctrinated into them. They are very cutthroat, very brutal, and you see how they're trying to strip away their humanity. But what I love about Shu is that Shu does not let this change him whatsoever. When
They
he's
have a
told
might makes right mentality.
a very might makes exactly.
Yeah.
So when they send him into the sparring circle, Shu basically fights them exactly the way he would fight Kendo style, and he loses. But his opponent hesitates, and the drill instructor reprimands them both. He says, "You hesitated out of weakness. You charged blindly in."
Let's rewind back real quick. Talk and because Nabuka was also in that same position too in the training. Can you give some details about that too as well?
Yeah, he is very similar to that of Shu. His village was pillaged by Hollywood, and he was
No, Schooner. I'm talking about the sparring.
Well, I think I know what he's talking about. Like you see, back in his world, Shu was told that he needs to learn how to use strategy and logic rather than just blundering in there. And then Nabuga basically tells him the same thing right after this little botched practice of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
For all we know, that could be parallel Oda as the guy who chastised Shu's Kendo method in the beginning of basically the first episode of the anime. You can almost kind of see a parallel between Nabuka and Oda. But what I was bringing up was the fact that before Shu got to spar, we got to see how Nabuka sparred.
Yep.
Right.
We see how menacing and cutthroat he can be within the smart match, because again, he's a decorated soldier.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a decorated soldier. And these guys, and mind you guys, these kids are not playing with sticks.
Nope,
No.
they're using knives.
Real knives. I'm surprised none of these motherfuckers died.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe they did, and we haven't seen it.
Maybe inside somewhere they died, but not on the outside.
I would like to see a soldier reacts on just that clip alone.
That would be interesting, to say the least.
I feel that his reaction would probably be similar to everybody who's watched this. It's like, damn.
Holy fuck!
Well, more of, why would they put real knives in their hands?
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
These
because
are kids.
The place is insane.
Exactly, but still, it's like a military trained vet would look at this and like, this is not the way how you train your soldiers, especially if you run the risk of injury.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, injury will happen, mind you. That's not as much as we like to say that injury can be avoidable, it's sometimes unavoidable. But the thing is, you don't want injury that is serious, that could potentially kill your soldiers. We don't even know how much medical equipment they have, let alone supplies.
Well,
I mean, hell, would look so.
If I could say something to that, it just goes to show you how little regard Hamdo has for human life in general. It's let alone these kids that he's using as his soldiers.
Going back to Mal on that one, but we talked at length about that enough. But I'm like, bro. Every time I saw him fighting with knives, I'm like, you sure you want to do that? I mean, you guys did, remember, you guys just lost a lot of dudes in the last fight.
Mm-hmm.
You would think you would give them batons or something.
Yeah, and a lot of the casualties were self-inflicted too, when you think about it.
Right. Go ahead, Schooner. If you were saying something.
I was just saying, if they have this very, like you said, might makes right, but they also have only the strong will live. So they They have not taken into any account of the human condition.
It's survival of the fittest.
Yep.
Well, granted, they are in a desert planet, so I mean, I guess it applies somehow.
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, it's just like you would think they would not have the luxury of being that wasteful, especially when it comes to water.
Yeah.
Maybe they should take a page from the Fremen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know, we can talk about this till we're blue in the face. Let's move on. I wanted to point out that
He doesn't make
again,
much of
I like to point out that Nubica is more committed to the kill, whereas Shu is committed to sparing one's life or the reason why he stopped because the opponent has no weapon in his hand and he's not going to strike down an unarmed opponent.
Yep.
Well, that's honor right there.
Yeah, he's basically being honorable, which is of course they're going to see that as a weakness and stupidity, but
Mhm.
it's admirable though. It's still admirable no matter what.
Yep. And what I love is that they keep telling him like stuff like, "Hey, you better shape up," or that sort of weakness will not be tolerated here. And he's just saying, "Well, why should I?" He's like, "Why? Why should I fight?"
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So okay,
Come
let's
back for
get
the
in.
way.
Okay, we're talking about the characters now. Let's get into Abelia more now,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
because she's one I've been wanting to talk about specifically as well. And let's get into her relationship with Hamdo.
Oh yeah.
She's
There's
kind of like a
elements of an
babysitter for him.
abusive relationship
She's kind
there
of like a
too.
babysitter for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Both of you
basically
guys are
the
right on all fronts, by the way.
right. Not to mention that she's the one that's really keeping everything going. Hamdo is just way too insane to make any kind of rational decision. Frankly, I wouldn't trust this guy to lead a marching band, let alone a nation.
You know, he would probably lead it successfully. The problem is they're gonna be saying, "We love Hondo, we love Hondo, we love," and they don't have this dumbfounded look on their face while they're singing it because it's like, why you couldn't find a better way to sing a better song that fucking fellatio your ass?
Oh
Pretty
yeah,
much.
pretty
I
much.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's how I imagine that's like the way how this man treats his people. It,
Mm-hmm.
They're just pawns to him. Nothing more.
they're toys basically. But
Yeah.
he in a way kind of cherishes Abelia, but
Yeah.
there's also another dynamic between him and Abelia and him and Lalaru, which that's gonna come
Oh,
up pretty
good
soon
grief.
once we're done talking about Abelia
Yeah.
and poor Abelia.
Mm-hmm.
I
I,
y-
I
girl,
ain't
you
feel
have
sorry for Amelia. I ain't feel
I
sorry
kind
for
of
Amelia
did.
at all.
I kind
I
of did.
I feel that she loves the idea of Hamdo more than Hamdo. She
Yeah.
likes the idea of him.
Basically, her idea of him, which is like obviously something a bit probably like what he might have been before he just went completely insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hamdo, I have a theory too.
What's that?
This is my headcanon, by the way.
Okay.
My headcanon is she was in the exact same position as Sarah.
Ooh.
Uh, Unfortunately, she probably couldn't bear children.
So Baron then.
Yeah, she's probably barren. However, somehow she rose up to the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
And, or maybe, just maybe, recently, Hamdo lost his mother. And
Ooh.
for some reason, he saw Abelia and probably she reminded him of his mother. And
Ski.
to that degree, since Abelia cannot produce children,
Mm.
surrogate son.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. I guess it makes sense since, as we discussed earlier, Hamdo is very childlike.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it like this. This is where my headcanon comes in.
Mm.
The way how he touches her,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
the way how he sort of manipulates her,
Right.
but the way how she treats him is very motherly. Even
Yeah.
there's a scene where she sits down and he's resting his head on her lap, curled up like a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very mother son ish.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Here's another evidence how
Hmm.
she treats Lala Rue.
Mm-hmm.
She treats her like the what's that word? The bad seed of the children.
The
Yeah.
redheaded
The
stepchild or something.
the black sheep.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking you're taking my son's attention away from me in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Think of
Hmm.
it like, say for instance, the son has the new girlfriend.
Right.
Yep.
And we all know how the single mother household is fucked beyond all repair.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it like this. You know how single mothers, we always praise single mothers, right?
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
But we never ever talk about the dark side of being a single mother in some
Uh-huh.
ways. Now, mind you, there are some single mothers that have rational thought. Let's just say that.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that all single mother parenting are failures.
Right.
Some single mothers do find a way to figure it out. But
Right.
I'm not going to also be singing my praise that it always works.
Right.
But let me get my thoughts correctly and drive home the point. The point is that you know that when mama and son are together, just mama and son, no father in the house, and they bring, okay guys,
There's a codependency there. What we
thank you.
have here is a very deep codependency. And when the son brings home the new girlfriend, what we have now is a problem with turf because
Mm.
suddenly the mother has taken, you know, the mother has taken care of the boy for most of his life, and then in comes the girlfriend who's now taking care of him and drawing attention away. That
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
mother now feels neglected because what's her purpose now in life? My whole purpose in life has always been to raise this child. Now I will be alone. And, eventually the most healthy relationships do end with the mother letting go of the son and always being there for, because they know that they're not going to be cut out of the son's life. But for the sake of simplicity, because this is how Ambelia sees Lala Rue.
Hmm.
Yeah.
She
That
sees
works.
that she is taking Hondo's attention away from her, but not only that, his obsession of it's constantly his obsession. She feels is destroying him when she can't see that he's already destroyed. But he is uh, obsessed with, and she wants, and that's another thing too. She's always prided herself on doing as she's told by Mad King Hondo. Okay, she's always succeeded. I mean, he's even said to her, Amelia, you never fail me. You always are able to do it. And when she can't succeed,
Mama
he
didn't
told,
raise no fool.
yeah.
Right.
In other words, mama didn't raise no fool.
Mm-hmm. And then when he can't get the necklace and he's giving so much attention to Lala Rue, Amelia feels like, inadequate. Like, what is my purpose now?
There's another thing I wanted to bring up, but I'm gonna bring up at the end of this discussion,
Hmm.
Okay.
which I don't know if this is gonna blow you guys' minds, but I just made this thought as I left away and came back. I was like, huh. I wonder if you guys are gonna think the same way, but we'll talk about that towards the end. Um, anybody else got anything to say about Abelia?
I think Schooner pretty much covered it right there.
Dominic,
Yeah,
you
same here.
nothing, Dominic?
I mean,
You've been
it's
pretty
good.
quiet for the last while there, man.
I don't. I'm just saying. I want to shine the spotlight on you so you can get enough to say because I don't let us take over too much now.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know I don't know, like, what else to add. Yeah, because I mean, each everyone will like cover the whole thing.
Okay. Hopefully we'll get more out of you as we keep going. Fizz, what about you?
What did it say about Belia? Like, there's nothing to say. There's never anything to say at all.
You just don't like her.
No. I don't care. I feel it's kind of like a secondary character. It doesn't matter. She's just a general.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I like.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to take a quick break to get into the comments real quick.
Yeah.
Right ahead.
Just briefly, they ain't really saying much, but I want to briefly touch on them real quick. Just reintroduce Stanley Oakley. I done fucked up his name. He's here. Rec is listening in, but he's throwing his 2 cents here. He says they had the idea during Ishii Stream to make a series of animated shorts depicting TV shows they wouldn't premiere today, ones that people generally want. I was thinking about shows we enjoyed, part 3, if that's
Oh
still
yeah.
viable.
Mm.
Because there are some things, there's still some shows I remember during the 90s that existed that people probably don't exist. For example, I did talk about Double Dragon one time, and I'm pretty sure you
Right.
guys probably didn't know that was a
Right.
show based off the
I
video
do.
game.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
remember that one. Which reminds me, I don't think I've been like on the panel for some of those yet. The
Yeah,
shows that
to
we
be
enjoy.
the dragon, well, you gotta be strong, always never bragging.
Mhm.
That and King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, which I sung that theme song on Ishii's stream.
Yep.
Hmm.
But I digress.
Right.
Talked a little bit to sexy chef cook. Too many distractions and like at work. Feel for you, buddy. Collab. Cooking show where the hostess, professional cook, is sexy, wearing only an apron. What? Incidental innuendo.
Mhm.
Tingo says so. There are child soldiers in the world. There's a lot to really cover in the world of Hollywood. Well, Hollywood is not the name of the world. Hollywood is the name of
The ship that they're on.
The warship,
it
basically.
it started off as like the way I was designed. It's basically a mushroom cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Symbolism. Not kidding, but
There's some symbolism there, actually.
it's a big fuck all mushroom. But like you originally you would think that it's just one big fucking building structure that houses a lot of people, until we later figure out, even by Humdo's admission, that is a big fuck all ship,
Mm-hmm.
A
and
warship, to be exact.
that apparently can only be powered by water.
Which I don't
That's
know.
why
Which I don't understand. No, because if you don't, why did they take any water from Earth and then bring it to their world?
that's a good question, Fizz. But again, we're talking about Mad King Hamdo here.
Yeah, he's not exactly the most logical thinker, if you know what I mean.
Then again, we don't really know the resources it takes to send people back into another world.
Exactly.
There's a lot of vagueness in this world of how this technology works. I mean,
That's another thing that I give a benefit to this show is that it's very vague, but there's enough to just keep the story, keep you invested in the characters and the story. We don't know much about the world that they occupy.
feel for you, brother. Feel for you. Tingo says anime is far superior.
But
It's a toss up at times. Back then, it was a toss up. You know, during the early aughts in the 90s, it was a big toss up. But these days, the way how Western has set the bar so low, and it really pushed us a lot to migrate to anime, even though we were already inundated with it as it is. It's sad, really. It is sad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It
And,
was all self-inflicted, too.
and the only reason why anime is kicking right now because there is no change.
Nope. There is
Now,
instead they're
now
just
they have.
no, the reason
Go
is
ahead.
Quitting by default, if that's what you mean to say.
it's simply because
Calm down,
they
motherfuckers. You win by default.
Pretty much.
but the fact of the matter is that they keep doubling down and tripling down on these ideas that are failing, but they say, but it sends the right messages. So, and they're going to continue to fail. The reason
I
why
think
anime is so far ahead is because anime listens and anime and manga, it all listens to their fans.
Exactly.
my thing is that with the way how anime works now, we can always bitch about the tropes that they keep recycling over and over again. The thing is that they hold true to storytelling
Mm-hmm.
be,
Yeah.
of varying qualities, however you want to take it. And here's another thing. There is no nobody's safe in this world of anime.
No.
You can all walk form of light in anime. Nobody's safe.
Yep.
People are equally treated as in the writing techniques. Period. Men, women, children. Um, mind you, when they do have Westerners in their story, however, you are not essentially getting the authentic. You're barely getting the authenticity of the Westerners through the Japanese perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So never claim that they're writing Americans correctly. 9 times out
Yeah.
of 10, they're not.
Yeah,
No,
they
they're
don't
not.
care.
Nope.
No, they're not. I mean, it's very clear too that in anime they are mocking other countries as well.
Yeah, they
It's
might
basically
China a
like
lot
a
too.
like Sergeant Hartman. You're all equally worthless.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. Even with that being said, with that being in mind, we love them for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're equal opportunity offenders. They don't take sides, unlike a lot of Western developed writers who feel like they
Not
have
only
to.
that, it's more of you're getting their idealized look into Westerners.
Yeah.
And think about it like this: their idealized look into Westerners. What do they see when they want to portray an American? Half the time, the Americans portray blonde hair, blue eyes,
Hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
with a
This
leather
is
jacket.
bullcrap. What's the bullcrap? That's Scandinavian than anything.
Exactly. Total bullshit, but at the same time, that's their template
Mm-hmm.
for how they portray an American character.
Hmm.
Hell, there's a lot. There's like look. You can do a quick Google image search on their way of how they portray Americans. Not again, 9 times out of 10, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be hard pressed to find any mode that differentiate from that mode.
Right.
Oh
Think
yeah.
about think about how
You
they
need to
portray
also know
African.
this. Yep. Good.
Think about how they portray black characters. At
Brown
times,
lips.
simplistic, yes. Yes, correct. You're correct on that, Fizz. But 9 times out of 10, even though they're trying to do Western Black Americans,
Hmm.
they are portraying them how how the main people that come to their country, which is mostly Africans.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have black people complain about how Japan depicts black people, I'm like, you're missing the point. You're not actually doing a complete deep dive. You're looking at the surface level. It's
Yep.
it's a
Exactly.
blending of two. It's a blending of two demographics that they've seen. Ones that can't that actually come to their country, as opposed to the people that are in the Western world. Have
And
you
not
guys
only that,
noticed that? Have you guys ever noticed that? Look to Dragon Ball. One of the black characters,
oh God, yeah, General. I believe his name actually was General Black.
right?
Hmm.
But what I'm saying is he's wearing a butler suit, right?
Oh yeah.
But look at
Hmm.
his design. That is not a
Mm.
black African American. That is an African dressed as a black African American.
Right.
Huh.
Look look at Choco Love from Shaman King.
Yep.
Hmm.
That is an African with a black African afro.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Thank you, Tingles. State Staff Officer Black.
Yep.
Like,
Step up
hold your
for
Or
Black.
fire. This man isn't black.
look at
He's
okay.
done.
You want another prime example? Black Lagoon.
Hmm.
Yep.
Dutch.
Dutch. Dutch is not a black African.
Mm-mm.
Nope, he's a
I'm gonna tell
black
you right.
American.
I'm gonna no. I'm gonna tell you right now. That is not a black African.
Hmm.
That is not. That's an African dressed as a black African.
Hmm.
So it's a caricature of a caricature.
Yes.
Is
It's a
it,
character. It's a caricature within a caricature within a caricature, which
he's
makes
a
it
dude dressed as a dude playing a dude.
Yep.
exactly. Yeah, he's a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Oh
He's
man,
Junior is
I got rid of the
dropping
never
tons of
hilarious but
retard.
flame.
true.
I think I got rid of the never. Oh wait, here we go.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Yep, that's the guy.
Yep, that's the guy.
I'm just saying, like even with Mexicans, not that
Mhm.
Western Mexicans, again,
Mhm.
half the time they're portrayed as South American Mexicans, dressed as Mexicans.
Yep. But I'm going to say this too, especially in Japanese animation, they rip on all European countries except they prop one up high above all of them,
Germany.
and that's Germany. They
Because they
always
were allies during World War II. That's why.
Yep,
They still have
exactly.
that respect.
They still have that respect for Germany. I mean, if you ever want to know how much respect Japanese animation has for Germany, just watch Italia. Because oh my god, that show is actually banned, believe it or not, in Italy because Italy is made to be so stupid.
Now,
Oh,
the
yeah.
only one I know that they kind of get right to some extent, India.
Yeah. No. Well, it's also because you got to think of it like this too. India, especially cults, they have the same spiritual values in India. Look at they believe in Taoism and all that stuff.
Also,
But like I
no
said,
paper.
but driving home the point, Boo, who we're definitely gonna talk about too in a bit. Boo is not an African American. That's an African. He is he's a baby African, but he's still an African.
Yep.
But let's
Well,
continue.
there's a difference. There's a difference between African and African American. All right. That's it. Yet some people don't realize that.
They never do.
Yep.
They just see the surface. They just see the surface. They think it's a negative stereotype towards, but like they're not representing you, motherfuckers.
No, they are not.
No.
Even freaking what's his face from JoJo Battle Tendency.
Wait, are you talking? Wait, which character? Which character?
What's his name?
Are you
JoJo's.
talking about Muhammad?
Go ahead,
Are you
Dominic.
talking about? I talking about Muhammad Abdel. He appeared in Star Wars Crusader
Not
Part
him.
3.
No, not him. The black character from Battle Tendency.
Oh, Smokey Brown.
Smokey Brown, yeah. Again. Well, actually, you know what? Smokey actually comes close to being a black African. Oh, not African American.
No
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one I see like that is actually a black American right there. But again, everybody else African dressed as a black African.
Yep.
I'm also going to say this. Japan is never afraid to stereotype.
Nope.
No, they're not. Unlike in
Smokey
America,
Brown.
where it's like everybody says they hate stereotypes and all that crap.
Yeah, the
Even though-
SJWs just make up their own
Even
stereotype.
though.
Yep.
Yeah, even though like
Oh, that
like
they do.
with Simpsons, they play around with stereotypes, showing that it's not always it's not always a negative connotation.
Anyways, to close off the discussion, the Japanese never change. Stay forever naive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's all. Stay forever naive about Westerners.
And continue to offend because you guys offend the right way.
Yep. I
So let's
couldn't put it better myself.
Like never change. It never change. And remind people why it's okay. It's okay to like offend. Whether there's a right way and there's a wrong
Oh
way.
my god. I have the ultimate anime that they need to make right now. Let's do an anime of the Civil War.
Oh, baby.
Civil
Thank
War.
Thank you, Redneck, for this one. He says, "Want to say Captain Black is not a butler. He was a standing officer. He was he was just starting a suit and tie like General why did I get the Butler vibe though? That's the thing. The way they
Uh,
designed to me, it looked like a Butler. Sorry if I made that confusion.
Can I also say this too? That in Dragon Ball, when he discovers what Red was going to use the Dragon Balls for in the first place, he immediately takes out his gun and shoots him. He's like, wait a minute. We committed all of this time and effort and all of this to get a dragon that can grant wishes, and you were going to wish to be taller? And he just takes out his gun and he shoots him. It's like, no way.
I like how that's referenced in Dragon Ball Super Brawly.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to make myself 5 inches taller. Is that it? What? Like, but you can already get bigger in your third form. Yes, but my true form, I'm still shorter. Well, why don't you go 12 inches? You fool! It wouldn't look natural that way.
Oh my God.
He put in a lot of thought into that.
It's
Much like
one of those,
Boomer wishing to be a bit younger, and you get that exact same exchange. It's like it wouldn't look natural.
that's what kills me more than anything. The bad guys who commit all of this stuff for the most dumbest of reasons.
But let's continue. Let's get to Boo real quick. The baby of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And in Nabuka's squad, there's a lot to say about Boo.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like you guys to take a lead. Let's start with you, Schooner.
He's a sweet little kid. Okay, he's great. You know, he sees Shu. He likes Shu. Because Shu is offering an alternative point of view when they say, "I want you to stand here, hold that gun, and fire." Boo is the first one to say, "Why?" And it's very clear that he's struggling with what he's going through. He's in this new environment, and he knows the clear difference. He's the first one to, spoiler alert, he's the first one of the group to defect.
Yeah, in a way, he is.
Well, he's the first one to realize that what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah, he sees Shu, and he's almost like he almost admires Shu. He sees that Shu dances to his own tune. He walks his own walk, and he's inspired by him. And when Shu is actually imprisoned because he doesn't make a good soldier, and because he constantly butts heads and questions and all that stuff, they imprison him. Especially when they were sent out to go and recruit more soldiers.
Yeah, everybody remembers that.
Yeah, Shu is the first one to yell out of all of them that this is wrong and this is bad and this is evil. Inspiring Boo, and even Tabul and even squad leader. His name's
Nabuka.
Yeah, Nabuka is like they're all like, whoa. I mean, everybody's thinking it, but they don't say anything. And Shu's the only one who comes right out and says it. He just makes he restores their humanity in Boo first. I'm sorry, I'm taking up all this time. Who else?
Yeah, yep. Like I said earlier, that Boo was the first one to realize. Then I'm gotta get. How do I want to put this? It's like he's the one that really tells Nabuka, "Hey, we're really the bad guys doing this." You know, not him.
I love that.
Are we the bad guys here?
And to Boo's answer to that is, "Hell yes, we are the bad guys."
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to bring up was the personality traits that he illustrates. Let's go with that.
Right.
He's timid for a soldier. It shows like you can really
because he's a little kid.
Yeah, but it makes sense when you notice that he is still fresh into it.
Of course,
Right.
it's fresh, exactly.
Visual storytelling shows the moment he's given a gun, he's got his hand he's got his finger on the trigger, and his hand is shaking.
Yep.
Even though Shu is sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Can I just also remark too, when he says watch him, Boo takes out his gun and just has the gun trained on him the whole time. It's like,
that is really.
how could anybody be comfortable sitting down with somebody pointing a gun at you?
Well, that also shows that that's what they're trained to do.
Yeah.
In a sense, that's what they're trained to do. They're trained to, like, the moment somebody tells you to watch somebody, have the gun out ready, because you never know what they're gonna do the moment they get up. You're putting yourself in. He's basically telling him, make sure you're at an advantage when they wake up, because because potentially that person could overpower you. And mind you, Boo is a kid. He's not a grown adult. He's not a muscle bound protagonist at all.
Right.
He's a very
So
little kid.
He's a little tiny.
Yeah, in a way, like it's smart of him to pull that gun up, but at the same time, it's also reckless of him to wield the gun the way he's
Doing it
doing. Because again, he's got the handle, he's got his finger on the trigger, and he's shaking, which leads credence that he's never killed nobody.
Nope.
He don't even know what would happen if he fires the gun either.
Right.
I'm sure he's practiced firing the gun, but firing at somebody. And mind you, again, there's a scene where when Shu wakes up, he's already shaking.
Yeah.
He's sweating. He's gritting his teeth.
Yeah.
He's nervous around. He's also, another thing is, in the midst of downtime, he's also timid. There's even a scene where Shu shows some intelligence.
Yeah, he also is not, like you said, he is not an experienced soldier.
He's trained, but he's not that experienced.
Yeah.
Which goes to show how poor their military is. That going back to that nuclear bomb that they dropped, essentially, it's not technically not a nuclear bomb. It's just a big fuck all cannon.
Pretty much.
With the firepower of a nuclear deterrent. But I'm like, bro, like think about it like this, like how inefficient their fucking military is. There's it's like evidence is shown where you can put two together. It's like, dude, I'm surprised you guys I'm surprised you guys are the domineering force.
They were once a domineering force.
Of course. It's implied that they're steadily losing that power over time.
Let me rephrase.
Right.
I'm surprised you guys are still the domineering force.
Right.
At this point.
Yeah. Exactly.
You see how you're basically saying how far they're deteriorating at this point.
They are. I think I'd make the argument that after seeing this army and the conditions that it's in, it's already done. The only people who it's already down. It's not. It's already destroyed. The only people who don't know that are the people fighting in it.
True.
But yeah, Boo is adorable.
Yeah.
It's also tragic when, well, we already know what happens.
Yeah.
We'll
save that for later, man.
Yeah, because
I know you want to talk about. Let me derail real quick. Fizz, thank you for showing your enthusiasm for getting ready to talk about this. He's been sharing his enthusiasm since the streams that I've seen him in.
Right.
Like I'm glad that you kept it in you for as long as you did. So I commend you, buddy, for that one.
Right.
You know, there's a thank you in order, but I'm not gonna press you on it. But yeah, Fizz, like again, I commend you, buddy, for keeping it within you until we got to talking about this.
Right.
What basically happens is, especially since Shu does not make much of a soldier and he's in prison, he does escape by finding the necklace, and he actually climbs to the top to find Lala Rue, and
which we'll be talking about her pretty soon, because she's basically the face of this stream right now, and I've been kind of like pulling back on talking about her right now because I wanted to get most of the characters. And of course, we're gonna get into some more characters that gets introduced later on. But again, like I said, we're talking majority of the stream right now because that's majority of what we're seeing, which is Hollywood's story.
Mm-hmm.
See you later, Sammy. Catch the back watch if you want to.
Take care, friend.
Take care. See you
later.
But go ahead. Anybody want to take the reins on essentially Shu's escape?
Well, what happens? It's pretty cool because he climbs. He's able to climb to the rooftop, and he finds Lala Rue with Mad King Hamdo, and he breaks in through the skylight. And
Again, anime sequence.
Yup.
yep,
Shonen anime sequence. Let's be real here.
mhm,
Motherfucker just comes in the most epic anime fashion.
Oh yeah.
yep. And also, I can't believe I overlooked this part, but while he's imprisoned, Shu doesn't know if he can escape or not, and then suddenly the means of his escape are dropped right on top of him. Somebody,
By Boo, no less.
yep, and
And then
it's by
Nabucco
Boo.
chastises him, and this is when Boo says to him, "Hey, maybe we're the bad guys here."
Yeah, exactly. But he makes it to the top. He's able to break in a la anime style, and then when he drops in, he defends Lala Rue, and Mad King Hamdo is so scared he tells Abelia to shoot him, and she points the gun, is all excited finally because he's standing in front of Lala Rue, 2 birds with 1 stone. But King Hamdo says, "But don't kill Lala Rue. Shoot him, but don't kill Lala Rue." So
Yeah, yeah, because he still wants her to use that pendant.
Yep.
We also, I think we also stepped over an assassination attempt on
Oh, yeah, I
Hamdo.
remember that.
Actually, there was
Yeah,
the
it was the
assassination.
assassination by what's that country called?
Give me a sec.
Bars.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh
say again?
shit! Zabarus. I think it's called. Wait, what did you call it, Brian?
Bars?
I call it Zari Bars.
Sorry, bars.
Yeah, Zari bars. Yeah, Zari bars. Damn it! And I just realized that they do have the episode list on there, and I wish we could have done this in order. Oh well, fuck it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And this
anyway,
was like, if I could cover that part. So they find the assassin, they shoot him. Shu tries to patch the wound because he still values that life. And then they, of course, Nabucco, shoves him
Well,
off. Like,
before we even get to that,
kills the last assassin.
yeah, what I'm saying is like, yeah, they end up trying to assassinate Hamdo. They get 2 of them get taken down.
right.
One of them escapes. Abelia suggests to capture the assassin for questioning. That the motherfucker says no, kill him.
mhm.
Because he's
Which
so
was-
paranoid for his own life.
Well, it's again leading credence to his childlike merit. It's like nope, like that's the first time somebody's ever attempted to kill him. It's like again, I compare him
It's
to
not the first time. It's not the
Oh,
first
no.
time. It's not the first time at all. But he's the first time somebody actually got into his house.
got this close. Yeah,
Mm.
it's basically he's basically having a Joffrey moment.
Mm-hmm.
Throw mud
And
in
a
his face.
breakdown.
Like wants everybody to die.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
They just threw mud and shit at you, and you ordered the knights to kill them.
They're starving, all because of a war that you started. You are talking to a king.
And I slapped the king. Did my hand fell off my wrist?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what it reminds me of? That average fan maybe. He put his shit with letterbox. He's fucking dead. you know.
Exactly.
And then I struck the king. Did my hand fall off my wrist?
Yep. That was a great scene. We've had we've had vicious people for kings. We've had idiot kings, but I don't think we've ever had a vicious idiot for a king.
Really, we can make a lot of comparisons to material that basically illustrates Hamdo.
Oh yeah. There's real
It's
life
amazing.
stuff you could compare him to as well.
It's amazing how art really talks about real life like that. It's
Art
crazy.
imitates life, is what you mean to say, right?
Thank you. I'm getting hungry and words fail me.
Yep.
So
But
am I.
I can soldier. I can soldier. You guys
I
can
can
soldier.
too.
Mhm.
My enthusiasm. Here's a brownie. Kidding. But
So,
yeah. But
So
let
yeah,
let
that's
me
the thing
touch
too.
upon. Hang on, guys. Let me touch upon that dynamic there. Brian did mention the death of the final assassin.
Mhm.
Before then, Shu finds the assassin.
Yep.
I think he starts trying to talk to him.
At
he
first,
captures-
he does try talking to him, but the assassin tries fighting him.
Yeah, he grabs Boo and uses him as a hostage. Boo stabs him. Shu's overpowers him, and not like Naoka's ready to shoot him.
Wait. No. What happens is that Shu runs for him while he's holding a Boo hostage. He has to engage Shu, and then Boo uses that opportunity to take out his knife and stab the guy, or does he bite? I think he bites him.
I think he
Either way,
stabs him.
yeah, he stabs him, and he drops Boo, and then he tries to run off.
Yeah,
But
he gets.
Did Nabucco finish him? Let's just say.
Yeah, he shoots some. Dude's wounded. He's already gushing out blood in the most anime fashion.
Mhm.
Of course. Shu holds down the bullet wound to stay about the blood. He said, "We gotta help him. We gotta patch him up." And then of course Nabucco, as Fish says, finishes him off by gunning him in the head. And get this, Nabucco has white in his eye. He is shaking.
Oh yeah.
First time he
And
killed a man.
Yep, pretty much. It pretty much illustrates how that's his first time killing someone. Again, these guys are inexperienced. These guys are actually like we see it in Taboo's face when he first sees combat in a war front. Mind you, we didn't really get into details in the aftermath. We got wounded soldiers walking away, getting carried off. Some are dead, some are wounded, some are already patched up and already shaken.
Carried off like cordwood.
Yeah, you see, but again, Nubuka, going back to Nabuka. I keep calling him Nubuka. Nabuka, he's shaken up at the first kill. He's never killed in his life. Neither has Boo.
Nope.
And you hear him repeat the words he keeps. He's obviously, you can tell that he's been saying this in his head day in and day out since his tour of duty. We keep doing this, we get to go home. We keep doing this, we get to go home. This is what we do so that we can go home.
Yep, we do what we do so we can go home.
Yep. Words that he's repeating himself over and over and over again in his head, obviously, and it's obviously coming into the surface. This is what's going through his head all the time, every day,
right?
To justify his actions. And it's funny how that episode ends too, with him saying that.
Yeah.
Now that's not to say that he's gotten over it in the next episode. It obviously it's probably making it out that he got over it in the next episode. No,
he has not.
To quote Shades and Luke Cage, the first kill, it gets. I'm fucking up the line. He says, it gets easier after the first kill. And that, like that line, it's never been no truer said. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, when we get to what happens in,
I think Kingpin said that. I think Kingpin said that.
Kingpin said that too.
He said that, yeah.
Oh, then that's an echo. Then cool. I did not notice that.
No, yeah.
And I watched that show 3 times already, and I didn't catch that. Wow. shows how my attention span is deteriorating. With all the shit that we feed ourselves every day, our minds to. But yeah, we said this in the beginning. Trauma is being done right in this anime. You see how quickly things are escalating. You see how people are slowly deteriorating in the mind and in the spirit. You see the lengths that they're going to do what they do, especially Taboo. We'll be getting to him pretty soon, because he man, you nailed it, Schooner. He is Starscream. He's doing some shit. He attempted to fuck up Shu just to make things go faster. Remember they were still looking for the pin at that point, but he opted to fuck up with Shu, and of course Nabuka stopped them from doing that.
Yeah.
Even the commander spots it.
you can tell that Nabucco is willing to bend the. You can see that he's willing to bend the rules, but he will not break them. He's not cruel.
Yeah.
There is some slight honor in him too.
Yeah.
And he
He
knows
also respects chain of command.
he also
Yep.
receives a little bit of that honor in Shu as well, even though he doesn't always agree with what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
There's even a
And,
scene where Shu is being given the whip
yeah.
Whoa.
Oh,
to
that's it.
punish
Yeah. When
Pabu.
they take, I remember that they take him outside to beat Tabul and his little cohort. They're gonna fight. They're gonna beat the crap out of Shu at night. And Shu fights back, but Nabucco shows up, and so does the commanding officer. And because Tabul and all of them were out of their bunks, they're
Right.
subjected to punishment.
Summarily
Yep.
punishment. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And insubordination, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, Shu throws it down. He's like, "No, I'm not going to do that. They're unarmed."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he will not
And
attack
of
an
course,
unarmed
they
man.
still get. Yep. They still get punished, yes, because again, this is freaking now and then, here and there, where the good guys, the good guys are basically rewarded for their good. They're punished for their good deeds,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Proof
or
that
or,
no
or
good deed goes unpunished.
yeah. But of course, he's not going to get punished. But in the end, you know, like this is, let's just say this is deconstruction done right.
Hmm.
If you guys are looking for deconstruction in a story that's done really well, now and then, here and there, does that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not. Go ahead.
yeah. At the same time, while it is deconstructing aspects of say shonen manga and
Yeah.
anime that we've seen
Oh, and
before,
isekai,
it,
don't
it also
forget. This is
and
there's
Isekai.
a lot of
isekai,
isekai stuff in here.
yeah, and isekai.
All
At the same time,
this
at the
is
same
made.
time
This is
though,
made
it's
before Isekai took off.
Exactly, but tomato, continue, guys.
well, I was saying besides deconstruction, there's also reconstruction. Like after like each aspect and trope is broken down into their base element, and now and then here and there, they are then put back together, which
Hmm.
is something you don't see like in recent history because well some modern writers and artists don't put any effort to reconstruct what they've broken down, or they just leave it as just these
Mostly because
broken
of their
apart
outlook in
hard
life.
shambles.
Yeah.
I'll point that out. That it's mostly due to the fact of their outlook on life. It's
Yeah.
you're basically deconstructing because, or rather, you don't want to reconstruct the world because to you, once it's broken, it's broken. It cannot be fixed. That's how they're thinking.
Which isn't
Yeah.
true because when something is broken,
Yeah.
it can be fixed.
Yeah. It's like otherwise, why have repairmen?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
That and again, it's like that's why in the months, or at least the several months of me doing this show, I brought up they don't know how to win because they don't
No.
even know what victory is.
Nope.
They will never know what victory is. They don't even know
Or
that victory has already been achieved in front of their face because
No, they do not.
because
or how
unfortunately for them, they're living in a life of luxury right now, or at least a life of easy mode right now, due
Well,
to the
and
fact
how did they get to that life of luxury? By basically complaining about the world, how bad it is. And if things
Yeah.
even improve at all, they're out of the job.
They lose their justification.
Yep.
for being
They're
sad.
Yep.
That, and they never took into account where problems are already rising outside of America. America already fixed its problems a
yeah,
long time ago.
it's the other parts of the world that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And
But
yet
then they pull that moral
and yet
code
like
out
they
of convenience.
Yep.
Go ahead, Dominic.
yeah,
No, go ahead.
they complain that America, yeah, they say America still has these issues. However, However, what they fail to realize is they're the ones who are bringing these issues back, not the other way around.
Exactly.
Right. Well,
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
what
I
I
think
want to
I
bring up
laugh.
is
I want to laugh because in this world we have to basically manufacture hate crimes in order to say that this country's still racist.
Yeah.
they want to create an enemy. They
Yep.
want to they want to recreate an enemy.
They want to create they want to create a boogeyman. They say they'll fight while the average member of the public will realize that they're the ones who create the
But
boogeyman,
let me get back
not
into
outside force.
the deconstruction
It's
slash
not a natural
reconstruction.
occurring thing.
Well, I'm saying let me get back to the deconstruction slash reconstruction of the story of now and then here and there. It's it's basically Superman if Superman and what's so good about True Justice in the American Way in a way. It's got all that stuff that you're looking for in a deconstruction slash reconstruction story.
Mm-hmm. You know what?
It's got that.
Here's what it works. Here's what I'll call it. Instead of reconstruction, it's deconstruction vindication, meaning it's
Mm,
breaking it down to its basic form and showing and highlighting the best qualities. I mean, the character of Shu would be, if this was made in the West, this would be the moment where Shu, the character, would have lost his faith in humanity and would be all edgelordy throughout the entire thing. But
right.
Shu,
Oh yes.
despite the horrors and trauma sustained to him, he still maintains his upbeat attitude and his belief that he is going to find Lala Roo and that he's going to escape. And despite the hell he goes through, he does that in the first part of the arc. He actually does get to Lala Roo and escape from Hollywood.
Yep. You put any of these
It's just,
assholes into that situation, they would give the fuck up.
Oh
Yep.
yes. They break like little babies.
They'll join the military and justify the horrible actions. Like they'll keep maintaining that they're still the good guys, but I'm like, yeah,
They'll be like
yeah,
Nabucco, but more hardcore.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only difference is that I can understand where Nabokov. I can understand how he got there. Unfortunately for these motherfuckers, they would join in an instant.
Yeah, because they're
Ju-
weak-minded and don't only understand power.
and also very soft. Well, but not just that, but also like they don't have thick skin.
exactly. They
Or
will.
conviction, for
We
that
all know they
matter.
will break. The women will subject themselves to the sex slavery. They'll. Let me tell you this right now. They will never ascend to Abelia's level.
No,
No.
they
Even
will not.
despite how little we know of Abelia, they will never get to her position. The way
No. They
they'll
claim that they want to be that strong person, but they'll never be that.
they will be sex slaves. They will be breeding stock.
Yep.
They will not be, like I said, given how little we know about Abelia, we we know she probably had to do some things to get to where she was. She probably did.
Yeah.
Or again, my headcanon is, and I might and I'm modifying this a bit. I'll modify my headcanon. Hamdo might have been put in the position of king at 5 years old, and Abelia was selected to raise him.
That would make sense given the fact he never matured past 5.
There have been child emperors in real history as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true.
But again, that's just my headcanon. That she might not have been subjected to the breeding stock life. Like I don't think Hollywood ever devolved at that point when she got there. I don't
Probably
think
not.
I think it was actually pretty stable for a time. I guess the original emperor got killed, and Hamdo was next in line, and she's so devoted for him. She's obviously that devoted for him because she's protected him for so long.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I made the theory that he could be potentially 14 years old despite his look, because the stress that he underwent while ruling aged him up to
Oh
that
yeah.
point.
The job ages you.
hmm That's why I made that that headcanon that he could be put like, and mind you, Think about it like this: Japanese. There's one thing I want to mention that before I forget. The Japanese are notorious for portraying older looking characters that are actually younger than they look.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Take example. Take example. Akira, the that one cop dude.
Oh yeah.
He looks like he's 30 to like mid 30s. He said, "Oh man, watch what you say to me, little kid. I'm 25 years old. I don't even have a wife yet." And
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
great.
when I heard that, my jaw dropped. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not possible, is it? I was young at the time when I heard that. I was like, wait, is that really possible? Is he joking? Is he really joking? I want to know. I want to know if that's really a thing. Turns out
Well,
it
and,
is a
and
thing.
it
you know what?
happens.
It can happen. But
Mhm.
I agree with you. The Japanese are notorious for making characters older than they appear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just
Another case in point. Baki the Grappler, the
for
'90s
the manga
version,
series.
not the manga, the '90s version, the anime,
Huh.
Mhm.
the one where he has short red hair. Crickets.
Mm.
No, no, no. I know what you're talking. Know what you're talking about. But I was just wait. I was just wondering like why you paused at the moment.
No, I was hoping that you guys will respond and say, "Oh, that one."
Yeah,
I've heard of Baki the
yeah,
Rapper,
well, that's
but
I
I've never
don't
watched
believe
it.
I've heard of it.
It's a good series, no matter which version you watch. Let's just say that. I got my start with the '90s movie, animated movie, the OVA. I think yes, OVA, where he has black hair. But I digress. My point being, the reason why I brought Baki up because there was a fighter that got soundly handed his ass by freaking Hanayama of all people. And I didn't make this connection completely yet, but I forgot that they were talking about Hanayama in this situation because they were bringing up that there's a fighter that could take on a certain fighter they need taken out, and they said he's one of the strongest people in the city, and he's only 25 years old. And they show this redhead dude just practicing his boxing and whatnot, right? And then Hanayama comes in and fucks him up. And I realized, oh, they're talking about Hanayama. This motherfucker is 25, but when you look at him, motherfucker look 40.
Mhm.
just, just
And he's
now
Yakuza
you brought that
boss.
up. That should remind me of that. That actually reminded me of that one moment from Bad Boys 2,
Yeah.
when Reggie made his first appearance. That's an animated
Mhm.
form.
Mhm.
Precisely.
He said, how old are you? I'm 14 years old. Motherfucker, you look 40.
Mhm.
Oh, here,
I
take
love
Megan dollars for a date.
that.
You gonna take my dick? You gonna get her high? You on that shit? You gonna get her high? Trying to get my dick high? No, sir. Hey, Mike, who that? It's Reggie. Who Reggie? It's it's my daughter's boyfriend. He taking her out to the pond. Wait, can you fight? Look at homie, you can't fight. Look at no. That's my he taking my niece out for the prom. If he can't fight, she can't go.
Mhm.
Oh
Man,
my god. I love it.
I hate Bad Boys 2, but I will always love that sequence.
I
He's
mean,
like,
it's
"You
Michael
want to
Bay's fault.
talk? He can't hear you because he's still shooting at you."
What'd you say, Fizz?
It says Michael Bay's or whatever.
Yeah, well, the first movie he did was really good.
The Rock.
Mm-mm. Bad Boys 1.
Oh, Mike Bay didn't write that one.
Did he?
No,
I'm pretty sure he directed it.
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He's
He
going for
did?
Bad Boys 2.
What?
He wrote and produced.
Ah, that explains everything. And explains why I hated Bad Boys 2. Because they were they became caricatures of themselves in Bad Boys 2. And the excessive arguing that they do in that movie, it's fucking ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the first movie, it felt natural, but this one, it's like,
Yeah,
huh? What'd you say, Dominic?
Dominic, have
Uh,
we lost? We've lost
it seems like you
Hey,
cut
so,
out there.
well, I'm saying like it, like
Boy,
the
you
conversation
gave me
like
a
felt,
scare.
yeah, like the conversation like felt natural. Like you can tell like they did not
They
think to
respect
do.
each other all the same in the first movie, but in the second movie, it's like, damn, they just hate each other. But dude, you scared me. I was about to do this.
Ah, ah, ah. I gotta love that, man.
But yeah, let's continue. So we're already at the part where they escape. Let's get into Lala Roo real quick. What are y'all thoughts about Lala Roo?
Well, for the most part, I guess for the better half of the series, she says absolutely nothing. She's basically a MacGuffin plot for a
I
while.
know.
Pretty much. She does. You know why that is? Because she's bitter about humanity and doesn't really isn't really
Well,
willing to talk.
you later find that out. Yeah.
I know why.
Uh,
Oh wait, I think Dominiqu's
The
going.
first, what's interesting is that the first line she ever says is to Emilio, and she tells her that you can't see that your world is our. I don't want to destroy your world. Your world is already destroyed. Just none of you can see it.
Pretty much. It's probably the
Basically,
most.
she sees humanity as rather she views what humanity has been viewing her at this point as a commodity,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
something to own, something to use and abuse. She's she also reveals that she's an immortal. She's basically
I know.
2,000 years old later on in the film.
Yeah.
I know.
Anime.
I know. I know. She's basically like a god or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which again,
A water goddess.
I'm gonna bring up my analogy
Mm-hmm.
later on. Um, that necklace, as we mentioned, is the water reserves. It's basically just the whole world's water. What
No,
she did,
she creates water, but the thing is, it's killing her every time she do it.
yeah. In a way, in a way, she's waiting for a moment where she's waiting for a reason to help humanity at this point, because it's going to come at the cost of her life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
way,
The next.
if you want to see it that way, as what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's like she's basically trying she's waiting for that moment to find somebody who's giving her that reason why she wants to help humanity at this point. And so far, her experiences is that all she's seen of humans is they see her as a resource.
A tool, basically.
So yeah, like Spooner said, majority of her character is silent character so far, and
Mm-hmm.
sadly we're subjected to the abuse that she endures from Hamdo, and oh goodness,
Oh, good. Great. Let me put it to you this way: if I saw somebody looking at my niece the way Hamdo was looking at Lalaru, I would castrate him on the fucking spot, right then and there.
it's implied that he might have did something,
Unseemly, to say the least.
but I would like to think that he just plays with her like she's a toy.
Yeah.
I don't think he would stoop that low.
No, he
Mm-hmm.
probably would. I think he would.
But again, well, I'm saying it's not out of the realm of possibility. But that's how I always got from him in his interactions with Lala Rue. He's basically talking to a doll
I always took
won't
it, yeah, like what you're saying, it's more of a power move because he's showing her that he's in command and he's in control.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it is. But Lala Rue doesn't even flinch at all. And what does he do? He moves away like going, oh, this is like, clearly this is not impressing you.
yeah, he's basically he's a poor man's Thanos that's trying to impress Lady Death.
Mm-hmm.
Very much.
Or
Mhm.
sorry, I'm using the wrong title. The embodiment of death.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's basically that. It's like she's just static right now for the majority of their interaction. She
Though she's the bottom
any
of life, so it's kind of opposite other way around.
that's
Mhm.
another way of looking at it. Thank you, Fizz. But what I was saying was, she is doing her best not to validate him
Mm-hmm.
at
Mhm.
all. Even when she didn't have the pendant with her,
Mm-hmm.
or sorry, the necklace with her,
Mhm.
like even if she's in the same shoes as Shu, though Hamdo is a bit more. What's a good way of what's a runabout phrase of saying that he's a bit more quote unquote kinder to her.
It's basic. What he is that he's putting her in a gilded cage
There you
because
go.
she is valuable and precious, and she is mine. And
My precious.
Precious.
exactly,
Precious.
and it's basically because she is valuable, because she is precious, she gets all the nice stuff.
That's another. That's another evidence that led to me to believe the dynamic between Hamdo and Obelia. Obelia's there when he's doing this at times, and she has to endure that shit.
Yep.
But
Mhm.
she's enduring it in her own way. Again, back to what I was saying about the dynamic between her and Hamdo. But let me not go beat that train again.
Mm.
Let's get back into the to the Lala Rue situation. Like I said, he's treating her like a doll in a way. She's her stance is basically that, just a doll. And again, she's trying her best not to validate him because any validation, it's like it's not that she's going to trigger him to do horrible things to her. It's more she's going to be end up succumbing to doing that stuff with him.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
She's
Mhm.
basically being she's going to submit eventually, but she's not breaking. But there are times there's a scene where obviously she had a PTSD moment, or rather a nightmare, a night terror, and she comes up out of it and she started crying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, there's a scene where he crushes a fruit in front of her and he strokes her face while he still got fruit juice all over his hands.
I know that.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So
Mhm.
Um,
he's a kid.
but
He's a kid that's playing with a doll, but don't know how to handle with care.
what I think I also found interesting is the fact that every so often Lala Rue flashes back to Shu. She keeps
Hmm.
coming back to that moment with the boy, and she herself is confused. She doesn't really know why is she thinking about the boy.
To answer Ghost's question, immortal, not invincible.
Yeah.
She can she can be wounded. She can
Mhm.
die. She
Well,
just
Yeah.
she
lives
don't die.
forever.
She don't die of natural causes.
No, she will live in this. Yeah. She
Indefinitely,
will,
like killer,
yeah.
Mhm.
like a vampire.
Yeah, it later reveal. Yeah, it's later to be revealed that she can take bullets, but you gotta be again you gotta handle it with care. That's why like even it like let's just say this: if she couldn't die by conventional means, Hamdo would not be spending his time trying to make sure nobody hits her or
Mm,
harms her.
yep.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm.
Like
Crazy.
if anything, if she can get shot and get right back on up, he would just tell somebody aim for her head, shoot her, she'll get right back on up, and while she's out, recover the body.
Mhm.
Think about it like that.
Mm.
But just that's just to answer her question. Their question. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Mhm.
So what's
I don't
next?
even know where. I was thinking
So
this
so
dead air
so
right
at,
there because I was thinking
so
of what I was going to
so
add to
after
Lala Rue.
Shu gets the pendant back to Lala Rue, she creates a flood and floods the entire building of
Yep.
Hollywood, and then
Essentially,
they
given what Hondo wanted,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is water.
yeah I know
Yeah.
which is water we should use the power of this ship I know.
Yeah.
And of course, now that they got a lot of water, you see what he does with it.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. He's
Mhm.
he's gleefully just downing it.
Like he's first, he's like, do you see, Hondo? It's water, it's water. And he's like, go after her, bring her back alive, water, woohoo!
Yeah.
He's basically doing snow angels in it.
Yeah.
He downs like freaking like 6 bottles of it, just like there's
In an
there's no
instant.
there's no movement to conserve it or anything.
No.
No.
Most of his men almost got killed by it
Mhm.
because when she
Yeah.
flooded, you see a lot of people get knocked around by it.
Some of them
Mhm.
drowned even.
Amazing animation how they did that too, by the way.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
the
yeah,
animation in this show is very,
yeah,
very good too.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's another thing we didn't point out. Like the animation, yeah, the animation. Oh my goodness, the animation. Jesus,
Mhm.
I think both the art and
mouth watering.
both the art
Oh,
and
yeah.
animation has held up well with time. The time passed.
Sorry, go ahead. Repeat what you said, Dominic.
I'm saying, I'm saying both the animation and art for Now and Then Here and There has aged well with time.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Again, like even. Sorry, I want to go back to Hondo wasting water essentially. Now that he got it,
Yeah.
like in a fit of rage, he shattered a few bottles because obviously Shu took away his precious. And it's
My
like
precious.
My
right,
precious. My
right.
precious.
But like you see how like he gets what he wants, and like a child, he is wasteful,
Mhm.
completely
Mhm.
wasteful. It's like he's already showering like 3 bottles of water in his fit of rage. He's got bottles of water lined in his room in a circle.
Mhm.
I'm like, dude, and of course now, um, later on, his mental instability starts worsening over time.
Oh yes. Like he was ever
Uh,
there to begin with.
However, at this point, they use the water to power the ship and finally get off the ground, which was an interesting sequence how they did that, especially how what they had to do to actually get enough of the water to be able to power up the ship.
Mhm.
And dude, it almost didn't get off the ground, and most people, I think they were spared the people operating that ship.
Yep. But what's funny is that the one guy says, "We need to issue the evacuation right now. We need to get out of here." And she's like saying, hold your position, hold your position. And he abandons his post. And then she goes, picks up the slack, and the ship starts to steady itself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, and then right after it steadies itself, her first order is, okay, the one who deserted, shoot him.
But even before that, there was another sequence with Shu and Lala Roo escaping, and then they get found by Nabuka and his group. At this point, like Shu is offering, "Hey, why not? You don't have to kill anymore. Why not come with us? Flee from this place."
Oh,
And at
yeah.
that point,
Too,
yeah, and then Nabuka refuses, saying that in return for you saving my life, I will let you leave. But the next time I see you, I will arrest you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. In the most Yugi way possible.
Pretty much, with his back turned, no less.
Yep.
Again, it's like you hear Dan Green and there are times you just hear Yugi every single time.
No, yeah. Uh, and also we have this out of nowhere alien monster chasing Shu and Lala through the
I
desert.
wouldn't say out of nowhere. I think that's part of the wildlife in Holly and let's just call it Hollywood.
No, how come the monster just wanted Lala Rule? Like it didn't care about Shu at all, just wanted Lala Rule to get the pendant.
Because she says that it's after her because she produces water.
And how does the monster must have human intelligence then? Don't know
It's gotta.
I
Yeah.
think I think it's animal nature.
No, it has to have human intelligence.
I think it just wants me. I think it just wants lunch. To be honest.
No, because it's after her specifically.
It's mostly targets her.
Yeah.
Like if Shu ended up in his mouth along with Law Ru while it's holding her, that's just a plus.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it can't be animalistic because because it's after her specifically. So it must
Mhm.
know that she produced water. So it must have human intelligence. That's just
Yeah.
kind of lifestyle.
Or I'm only now take this with a grain of salt. I think it was doing that to protect her. I don't think it would.
Oh,
I don't
really
think it would
now?
have killed her.
I don't know.
Now, that's what I'm saying. I don't have no evidence that there's how animals react around her because it's so scarce to find. Like you'd be hard pressed to find any kind of wildlife there in the first place.
Mm.
Of the wildlife you see, it's not anywhere near La La Rue.
Hmm.
So we don't really know what animal react to how animals react to La La Rue. But
Yeah.
No, we see other no during the scene when they're at the oasis, we see other animals interact with
I'm
Lala Rue
saying
and they'll act
what
up.
lack of, like I said, what lack of we do see, we don't see how they behave around La La Rue that
No we
much.
do. No we do.
We do, we do.
Oh,
During the oasis part when they most other animals act normally to her, but that one alien monster keeps trying to kidnap her.
Yep.
Yeah, but
So
we won't spend too much time on that creature.
Can I
That was
also say this too?
that was brief.
I need to also say this too, is that despite Shu and La La Rue escaping, the one who escapes first was actually Sarah.
yeah,
She
I know.
managed
oh
to
yeah.
escape after beating the guard to death and wearing a disguise of a dead guard and walking out into the desert. And then afterwards, she cuts her hair and she just runs through the desert.
And
And
she was
when
found
Shu was,
by somebody.
She gets found by somebody,
uh,
but we'll get into that
Sis.
later.
yeah,
Mhm,
but when Shu
No. We can say her name now because we're getting there now already.
Right.
mhm.
Okay.
Sis.
when Shu and La La Rue escape, the first question that went through my mind is, okay, are they going to run into Sarah? Where is Sarah? What happened to Sarah? And it turns out at the end of the monster episode, when they finally defeat the monster, they find there's a
There's some equipment that they run across
yeah,
that's
we
Bomb.
obviously from somebody else, which yeah. Now I bring up Sis. And we already mentioned Zaribus.
yep,
So it's basically the people of Zaribus.
yep.
Right.
They even get a mention after the assassination attempt actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's why I said we're at this point good to bring up Sis now, who is
Okay.
one of my favorite characters.
Yes, mine too. Thank you. I love her. She's great, and it's
It was a cool
continue.
character.
She's a great character.
Uh,
So Shu and
I,
La Rue are
I
able
didn't find
to.
her that. I didn't find her that compelling. Who I did find compelling was the guy who always arguing with her, the evil, the kind of
The
sort of
terrorist guy.
revenge motivated. What's his name?
I
Uh,
hang on.
it
Hang
begins with
on.
an L, doesn't it?
I got the damn wiki, guys. Hang
All
on.
right.
This is
Well, I'm just going to
Alamba.
continue. Yeah,
Alamba, right.
So when Shu and La La Rue escape, they act and after defeating the desert creature, they stumble upon a small oasis town, which is the first time also in the series we actually see green.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the green grass on the other side.
Mm-hmm. The
We
grass
see,
is always greener.
well, the only reason why it's like that because they have actually reserved water stashed
Mm-hmm.
in a not necessarily stashed, but it's one source of water that's like for all we know could be the only source of water that they possess that Lala Rue has not really touched or I'm only saying that because maybe she did scour the water with her necklace.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, the story doesn't really give that much evidence, which is good
Mm-hmm.
because again, it
But
leads us to theorize.
and it trusts its audience that they're adults. Treats the audience like adults.
But what
Yeah.
I'm saying, what I want to bring up is, yeah, the reason why it's green like that because of the water source that they have with each other, which they do rush. You see the different dynamics between Hollywood and Zaribus. Zaribus rations their water, and they treat their people with respect like family,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Hollywood, there is no family dynamic whatsoever. You got kids running around the playground with no adult. Well, you got adult supervision. What there is or lack of. But in Zyrobus, you got orphans. You got but you still got parents watching the orphans, which is another sad thing to point out is that one of the orphans, the dad,
Soon.
he's
Her dad's one of the terrorists. One of the terrorists trying to assassinate.
assassins, yeah.
Trying to kill Hamdo.
And he was the one that Shu tried to save that Nabucco subsequently executed. And it's sad to know that Shu knows what happens to her dad, but she doesn't know, and she is waiting. He can't bring himself to it again, leading to how trauma works. But with the way how they illustrate it, she's waiting for her father every day to come back.
Yep.
Yes.
Can we do a music AMV with the day that never comes by Metallica?
Yeah,
Man.
it
That's
very
it.
much. Yeah, because is it okay to say it now?
Go ahead.
Yeah, the assassin they killed early in the episode was Soon's father.
Motherfucker, I said that earlier.
Oh,
I'm messing with you. Continue.
Yeah,
I'm like, has anybody in this class been paying attention?
Oh, sorry, I guess I must have missed that part. Sorry.
Go on piggyback. Go on piggyback and continue what you're saying, Brian, because we haven't heard what you have to say about this whole thing.
Yeah, it's like there's a scene later where she does find out that it was Nabucco who killed him, and she tries to, obviously shoot him in the back, but then, of course, Boo steps right between them, takes the shot himself, and then
in the most heartbreaking scene.
It's played completely straight.
Fronts.
No comedy, no nothing, just completely played straight.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's get back to how they ran to Sarah again.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So they're walking along the desert, dehydrated, and
saved by Zaribus.
Yep. They stumble into Zaribus, and Shu also demonstrates why he's the anime protagonist, because Lalaru loses her shoe to the monster. He gives her his shoe because he lost his other shoe as well. He gives her his shoe, and he's walking in rags around his feet.
Yep.
Risking damaging them.
Yep. He's a hero through and through. So they make it. And they happen to run into some locals, and some locals are about to give them trouble. No, I'm sorry. No, they're walking in and they see a bunch of locals fighting, and Sis is one of them who's debating with what Fizz was saying. Alamba.
Go ahead.
He's basically saying that Hollywood is weak and that they should go and attack it. And she's like, we're a peaceful community here. If we attack, let's not. Let's let them fizzle out and be destroyed. They're running away and deserting right now. And for the most part, she somewhat wins the argument. But Shu has to step in to protect her. And after the mob kind of dies down and everybody goes their separate ways.
Dude, women are not spared in this fucking show.
No, they are not.
No, they are not.
Oh, one thing I overlooked. Taboo is voiced by Alucard.
No kidding. Crispin Freeman?
Ooh, Crispin Freeman. I did see that, actually.
A vampire and a duelist. In the same unit. And he's Sume. I forgot that he's Sume.
And don't forget 2 ancient Chinese generals from the Three Kingdoms. Those being Guan Yu and Fa Zheng.
And Straight Cougar from Escride.
Oh yes. Crispin Freeman gets around, man.
Okay.
Itachi Uchiha.
So basically sees Shu and Lalaru there and offers her home. She opens up her home to them. And it is during that, basically she says, well, do you have any place to go? No, not really. Then you'll stay here. But I'm going to warn you, I'm going to put you to work in the field.
Pull your
And-
weight.
Yep. And she was like, I'm fine with that. I'm ready to go and do it. And he spends a day
She
in
also
the
lies
field.
about. She was about also lies about Lala Rule's real name, of course.
Yeah.
He's
Yes,
keeping a
too.
low profile on her
Yes,
because
too.
of what she said about people just viewing her as this resource for just water.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we forgot about that. It's during that time when they're walking away in the desert, Lala Rue finally opens up to Shu and tells him about her outlook on life, how she has lost faith in humanity because everybody at first is happy when she brings water to them and they're grateful, but then eventually they take it and they come to hate her and all that stuff. And she has lost. I mean, I believe that she does look the part of a girl who's of a centuries-old water goddess that has lost faith in the people of the world.
Yeah.
I totally buy it.
Yeah. Well, it's also because she's been around for so long and she's seen how people react to her, all the different stages of it too. And at some point, that would just break anybody when you think about it.
Yeah, but back to what I was saying is that so Shu, yeah, he what Sis was saying. Shu lies about Lala Rue's identity, calling her what did he call her? Lara?
Larla, I
Yeah,
believe.
Laura.
Yeah, Larla. Anyway, so they're working in the field. Lala helps around Lala Rue helps around the house, and they're all sitting around having dinner after a hard day's work, and that's when Sarah walks in. Sarah walks in,
And then she attacks Lala Rule because she blames her for all the hell she's been through.
for all the hell that she went through and all that kind of stuff, and she's angry and.
It's like she basically blows Lalaru's cover at that point.
Well, she doesn't. Does she call her Lala Rue, or does she just attack her, saying
I think she
calls her
does
Lala
call her
Rue.
by name, Lalaru.
"Oh, you're right," and Sis learns her identity and agrees to keep it secret,
Yeah.
which I also love because what I love about Sis is that if you cross her, she hits you upside the head, and
Yep. Pretty much like she's the disciplinarian nanny right there.
Well, the thing is,
no,
going by what
she's the lovable disciplinarian nanny.
Well, there you
what
go.
kills me, especially when that now that Schooner had brought it up, she disciplines Shu twice on behalf of Lala Rue.
No, she taps.
I could be misremembering.
No. She lightly taps Lala Rue on the head by saying, "That's for lying," and then hits too hard. And he says, "Why did you hit me harder than Lala
You
Rue?"
can take it. You're hard-headed.
Yeah, because you're hard-headed.
Well, that's typical child thought process, especially for a boy of his age. Like why would you ask that?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you you're a little boy? You shouldn't be asking a lady like that kind of question. But of course, obviously, he don't know no better. He's a kid. But it's realistically written though. That I'm saying like when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's so realistic. Because even I had moments like that.
Another thing with this is we found out that Sarah's pregnant. Now and then maybe now they bring up the option of abortion, but they just throw it out the window. Now
No, not
exactly.
Not yet.
It's her choice.
I know it's her choice, but she tries to kill the baby herself, but she forcibly stops her. She tries to slam a rock to her own stomach.
Yeah, and then Shu puts his hand right between the rock and her stomach.
It
breaks his hand.
It's a very brutal scene.
It's a brutal
heart-wrenching.
Well, it's a brutal scene because the build up to it is so brutal. It's because Sarah passes out and she's very fatigued. They take her to the doctor to see if there's something wrong with her, and the doctor says she's just very fatigued and she needs some rest. Follow me, please. And she said, and Sarah is partially awake and is listening, and the doctor says to her, there's something else too that you should know. It's that he says the girl's pregnant. And I gotta tell you, my blood froze when I heard the doctor say that.
I know, I
I'm
remember
like,
that. I did too. I asked, what? How the hell did that happen? Because keep in mind, the guy who had raped her, didn't even get his pants off. So how the hell that had happened?
well,
Well,
because he's been
Well, it was a
passed
before
different guy.
remember it wasn't just one guy. It was multiple
Yeah.
dudes.
Mhm.
It could have
And
been any one of them.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm just basically saying, oh my God, this is how you know you have a greatly written show, because you're saying, oh my God, can this girl get a break?
Nah, I hate Sarah's
Can't any of them
storyline
catch a
because
break.
I hate
Nobody
Sarah's
catches a
storyline
break
since
around here.
I hate the
Eh,
Sarah storyline since everything about it is actually one kind of pointless, and two really just there for no reason other than to say that the world is harsh, which you already know from the whole child soldier thing. So it's kind of redundant.
That's almost like
Instead of
saying Berserk's way of how it treats women is pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
no, because this show, okay, she the main characters take away the option of her getting an abortion. So she's forced to raise a child that she does not want, and decides to, at the end of the show, decide to stay in this crap world for no reason at all.
I can kind of see that.
Well, here's the thing
That
that
last part is the one that, yeah, I think everybody finds a bit
well,
contentious. Like, why stay?
yeah, I would agree to that. That is a very
It's a
contested.
very polarizing theme. Not no, I'm not
Another,
saying that it just. I'm not. It's not. They're not making that decision out of whim. There's a lot of story beats that does reinforce why she wants to stay.
Yeah,
Uh,
here's what happens. And after she finds out she's pregnant,
I know you. I know you don't want. I know, Fizz. Yeah. But continue, Schooner.
she is sitting on a rock, and Shu comes over to sit with her, and she basically says to him, "You lied to me. You said that it was all going to be okay, that we were all going to make it out of this." And she's like, "What hope do I have now? What is, she's really making, she's making a,
There's a
she,
deconstructionist argument there.
there's the deconstructionist argument, but what I like about Shu is that he doesn't fire back with an with the opposite side of the argument, because like any normal person, he says, "I don't know. I don't know."
He's
What
faced with the reality.
he's faced with the reality, but he has that moment which I really love, is that where the hero hits their lowest point. And this would be the moment where you think, okay, he's finally going to give up. And you think the past few episodes he probably would at this point. That this is the moment where the hero is at his lowest point. And she's yelling at him, saying that he's a liar and all this kind of stuff. And he's trying to fire back with, "I don't know what good will come of this, but you got to keep on going. You have to keep on going." And what was it?
Superman.
After that, yep. And after that, she leaves. And that night, she wakes up and goes to the oasis to try to drown herself. And Q doesn't let her drown herself. Instead, he rescues her, and she keeps saying, "I don't want to live anymore, because all of the, everything that I went through is now coming back to me. What do I know about raising a child? What is, what is my purpose? Is this?"
Speaking of realistic sense.
Yeah.
Now, the whole abortion thing. The reason why I'm on Shu's side on this one, especially sis, especially because I am of the opinion the sins of the father should not be treated be thrown at the child. Now, as I say, I was
I'm for the abortion because in this case, she did not choose. She was have a child forced on her that she doesn't want, that she
Mm-hmm.
did not that she not choose,
Mhm.
that she's not responsible for.
so
I'm
that's
gonna
the two things that
actually,
we both like about Jessica Jones there, Fisk.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah,
actually,
that's the only thing that's the only thing that's good in Jessica Jones, that they abort the baby. Not to mention not to mention just Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones, the child would be 100% guaranteed to be evil, because in that universe, mind control powers automatically make you evil, so it doesn't matter. So it would have just been another Purple Man anyway.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, no, and they changed it how it worked in the comics. In the comics, Purple Man can turn his powers off. In the TV show, no, he could not. So he has no choice.
No. Are you sure that child would? I'm saying, remove yourself from the comics. Are you sure that child would have been just another Purple Man?
No, in
Would you
the
think he
TV
would
show, it
inherit the
would
same
have.
powers?
In the TV show, it would have, but not in the comics. Not in the comics. Not in the comics, but in TV show, it would have.
But given with that case, would you think Robin would have raised the child to be good?
No, it doesn't matter. He can't turn his mind control powers off, so he can't function in normal society.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Kilgrave. So it doesn't matter what the boy chooses to be or not. He either would have been evil or had to live in the woods by himself.
That would suggest she would abandon the child to his own devices because she hates the father.
Yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, his thing was no. In the TV show, they changed it from the comics. If you don't know how
We'll
powers
shelve
work.
this. Let's shelve this conversation for another time. Let's get back to the story.
Right.
Yeah.
The reason why the reason why I'm okay with the decision making on this one, you could say they took away her agency on that one.
Mm.
No, I always see it as more of, again, playing into the lingering trauma, because now this child, not only is she going to be reminded every single day of what this child came from, she is also
got to take care of this child, and also her life is completely destroyed.
Well, they say her life is completely destroyed, but I don't believe that, because which we'll get into later. I do believe in this case, I do agree with Biz. This child is the product of rape and non-consent, which gives her full right to terminate the pregnancy.
Yes. However, the child don't deserve that.
It would be better off dead than alive in that world anyway.
I'm gonna have to disagree with Fizz, but I do like what Shu said. Not Shu. Sis says later on, saying no child.
Her dying wish. Her dying last words.
Yeah, her dying last words are no child should grow up being hated by their parents. And that, I don't know why, but that hit me. That hit. You know, the child didn't ask to be created.
See, I was almost in Fizz's shoes in that argument until that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Sis on that. It's like again, like.
And then, how's the child grow up to be living anyway? It's not gonna be living well. That's for certain.
Well, that's the thing. You're overlooking the fact that spoilers now. Now that we might as well get to the fucking end at this point.
Hang on. Before that happens, Shu is able to save Sarah and tells her that
save the baby. It saves the baby for some reason.
Fizz, let him speak.
And after that's when the anarchists start basically saying, you know, let's go and attack Hollywood right now. And then one of the soldiers from Hollywood happens to show up, and he says, oh, I escaped from Hollywood, and Hollywood's forces are weak right now, and we're all scattered. But what he doesn't reveal to them is that he's actually a spy, and he contacts...
And Hollywood's mobile.
Yep, yeah. And Hollywood is now mobile. So he contacts Hollywood and gives them this location, and Mad King Hamdo is like going, yeah, these guys sent this country right here, this small village, sent assassins to kill me, so I'm going to destroy them. So he's on his way right now, and the spy happens to hear from Sarah because he was actually one of the guys who raped her. Overhears Sarah talking to Shu, and Sarah mentions La Rue, and the soldier's like, holy smoke, La Rue is here. So what does he do? He attempts to sabotage them on the inside because he goes to the anarchist leader and he says, oh, hey, there's something you should know. You have a strong weapon here against the forces of Hollywood.
A bargaining chip at this point, too.
A bargaining chip.
Yep.
And he tells them that, and almost at once, Sis realizes, what was it? Oh, that's it. Yeah. The soldier actually goes to Sarah and says to Sarah, listen, you got to get out of this village right now because I just told the guy. Oh, she hates his guts, and I think he
Mhm.
even understands. You have every reason to hate me, but I want you. I care about you, and I want you to live.
Bullshit.
I know.
When he said that, I said bullshit.
Exactly.
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it does kind of turn good at the end, but keep in mind, he didn't choose a raper. King Hondo chose that.
Yeah.
Chose him to
Yeah.
do that.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I don't hate him that much.
He's a
I mean,
a prick.
no, no, no.
He's a prick.
No. I'm not saying that to spite him. I'm saying that like I doubt he would want to have a. I doubt there's going to be a good life between those two. Is what I'm
I
saying.
know. I
If
know.
he has if he was successful in getting her on his side and they live, you know, together, but I'm like, yeah, that.
That wasn't gonna work.
Yeah, it would
Mhm.
never
Because we,
work.
well, one, we don't know we really don't know what his intentions would have been. We wouldn't know what kind of person he would turn into. Like yeah, sure he's nice, he speaks nicely, he has a conversation with her, he has her name and everything, you know, but we don't know if he'll abuse her, beat her around, you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, him trying to offer her a good happy life, I'm like, yeah, bullshit. And
So,
and we all know that's bullshit.
of course we do.
But but he has a saving grace
But he
towards
does
the
tip
climax of the story.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
he tips his hand to Sarah. So Sarah immediately runs back to Sis and says that Hollywood is coming and the villagers here know about La La Rue. So Sis says, okay, soon we get our water from the deep caverns here, but there's a big labyrinth down there. Why don't you take them down there and hide? And the soldiers obviously show up and ask Sis, hey, where's La La Rue? And she's like, I'm not saying anything. They shoot her in the leg. She still doesn't say anything, and then they take her to the town square for a hanging.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah.
Then you're like the
I
old
understand
Wild
why he
West.
did that though. I understand why Lambo did
Fizz,
that though.
go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. Since you're talking, explain why you like Alhambra.
Alhambra. Well, this character here is okay. He's become obsessed with trying to kill King Hondo because of what happened to his family, what happened to his sister and whatnot.
Yeah.
You like him
So
for his flaws.
no, but here's the thing though.
You understand.
He has
Yeah.
justifiable reason to hate Mad King Hamdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just about
Yeah,
everybody
and
does.
the thing is, yeah, and the thing with her sister is she's actually hindering him win the war, multiple times actually. So I put it
Ooh.
understand from a military standpoint,
Yeah.
from fighting the war standpoint. Yeah,
Problem
yeah,
is, Alhambra is not military. He's basically a guerrilla,
I know.
Yeah.
which
They always.
much respect to any guerrillas out there,
Mhm.
but most of the time they're not the best of warriors.
Well, and here's another thing too is that, and they keep telling him this, is that your hatred for Hollywood is turning you into Hollywood.
You know, hey,
Yeah, it's
Hamdo
that
turning you into
In other
Hamdo.
words, you are what you hate, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you become the one you hate. And the thing is that I think he's actually fine with that.
yeah. I know. I think he's fine with it too.
He made peace with what he became long ago. You're not at this point. You're not changing his mind,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which makes him a sort of complex villain
Yeah.
as opposed to Hondo, which we all. It's like Hondo. For all the things that we said about him, like we're still fascinated by his madness.
Mm.
Alamba, we're fascinated by how far he has gone.
How far he
To the point where,
continues to fall.
yeah, especially to the point where now he even staged a assassin, sacrificing one of his friends who's essentially a father to one of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we can lay the responsibility to bear in his hands. The blood is on
Yeah, I
his
know.
hands on that front.
Right.
Mm.
Like I said, it's a lot. This like despite how short this anime is, it's got enough meat in there for us to dig into.
Oh yeah. But he continues
That's
to
with the
cross.
characters.
he continues to cross the line and justify his terrible actions, though. Like, he's able to rally the villagers. He tells the villagers, hey, Hollywood is coming, and we have Lala Rue here. This is hiding her. We have a bargaining chip to save ourselves. But it's really clear that all he wants to do is fight Hollywood.
Continue, guys.
Yeah,
I'm
and he
listening.
wants to kill
And,
Hondo for killing his family while he's at it.
Yeah, exactly. And what was it? And then after that, I'm trying to remember. They realize that Seth must have hidden her into the cavern, so he sends one of his guys, and they discover Lala Rue, Shu, and Soon. And a fight breaks out. Shu steps in to defend Lala Rue. He's nearly killed, and Lala Rue activates her water powers.
Yeah.
And goes all the way to the middle of the square, but Lala Rue is able to stop it before it can hurt anybody. And before anybody can take a breath, Hollywood shows up. And they just lay waste to that town. Holy smoke. That is not a fight. That is slaughter.
It's a massacre.
It's a jihad.
Yeah.
Complete
And
jihad. They were outgunned and outmatched.
Yep. And as they're being
in what world? Sorry, as this sequence was going, I'm like looking at Alamba. I'm like, in what world was going to succeed?
Yeah. Exactly. And
look, there are times I want to be on his side if he wants to take the fight. I'm like, but dude, like even if you were not armed with the knowledge that Hollywood is mobile, like, did you not see what they did to the people who tried to attack him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just blew him to smithereens.
Like you could, like, if anything, with the knowledge that the spy gave you, you could still send some forces to assassinate his ass. Unfortunately, by the time they got there, or at least rather, if he had scouts running around, they would have saw that the base is mobile now.
Yep.
That's another thing that like, as much as I want to respect Alamba, like bro, where your scouts at?
Exactly.
Why is your scouts not out like checking the terrain?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they were. They didn't get out there.
I think it was just because they were so short. There were a handful of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there was so little of them to begin with.
That and the fact that wait, this is Ilamba we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably because Ilamba is just so revenge driven that he's not thinking, logically.
So you got one man child that's running a big empire, but you also got a guy who's so far deep, in the deep end that he's not thinking straight. So you got two dudes that are just like hell bent on each other's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the children are the same ones, somewhat.
Yep.
Somewhat. But you also got the responsible adults as well. Like
okay, go ahead.
I hate to praise this, but you got Abelia and you got Sis. It almost sounds like it almost see this is the problem where our culture is at right now, because we've now been conditioned to think, is this woke?
Yeah,
I don't think so, because at least the women there act like women and not butch men, as it were.
Right.
Ladies,
or robots, or told them to be.
Now that y'all bring that up, Sis doesn't undermine Alamba.
Down to femininity.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, here's one thing Sis don't do to Alamba. She doesn't really undermine him.
Mm-hmm.
Nor does she does anything to sabotage his war effort.
No.
He does that to himself.
Well, no, not necessarily that. But what I'm saying is, like, even if he makes a decision, like, even if she tries to curb his aggression, she's not doing things to outright stop him that can make his job worse.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense there?
Yeah, she follows through with his plans. What he asks, she gives him what he asks for.
In a way, she respects him.
Yeah.
Like she
And
don't agree with what he does, but she respects him enough to let him go play soldier.
yeah, and and it's also very apparent in the scene where Hamdo grabs Lala Rue during the attack, brings her before Ambilia, and says, hey, call up your attacker. I'm going to shoot her dead. And she just says, go ahead.
Throws
Either
him off
you,
too.
yeah. She says, so go ahead. And it just showed how doomed to fail he was because he's dead before he can even make any sort of an impact. He died as he lived.
Ghost has a question about Hondo. So that why don't they just kill him and free the ship of him and his reign?
Mm-hmm.
So the answer,
Go ahead.
one answer I have for that is that they're so hell bent on being devoted to serving him to that point. That and at this point, like even if they do kill him, there's a power vacuum. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be fighting each other for control over Hollywood.
No, no.
Now,
Nature abhors a vacuum.
however, the argument will be, will be ability will take control and everybody will step forward. Are you sure about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Most of
I'm
these
sure about.
dudes
I
don't.
was sure about it.
Well,
Well, here's the thing: most of them
well,
don't respect women that much.
no.
No, they do not.
I'm just saying, like I'm not saying they will fall suit, but at some point, somebody's gonna try to challenge her rule because woman.
Well, not
But
only that,
You could respect Abelia more than King Hondo. So what the hell?
true,
but
true.
No.
I see where
Pittsburgh.
Wolf is coming. I see where Wolf is coming from, especially what happens later in the episode. So after they wipe out that entire town, they take everybody, women and children, hostage or as slaves, as they say, and they get
Pretty much,
Lala
getting a good idea. Well, here's the thing: we again we overlooked as well. Actually, Schooner slightly brought this up, but Shu got to see where they're when he was traveling with them for the first time before he escaped Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically repeating what they did with one town.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're going to recruit more soldiers, he sees the brutality.
They're taking kids as slaves and you making some more soldiers. They just kill the adults because adults not gonna be brainwashed. Can't be brainwashed that
Yep.
easily. The kids can.
Well, because the children are very easy to corrupt.
And the women are spared
Exactly.
because the women
They
are spared for
need them.
obvious reasons.
They need them to make more babies.
Mm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, Shu is once again imprisoned, and it is in prison where Sith dies, which really sucks. But that's also when she gives her
Slow,
last
painful death.
slow, painful death, and that's also when she tells Sarah to not blame her child for the terribleness on. Just no child deserves to come into this world hated by their parents.
Right.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and this is where not what was his name again? The head of the child unit,
Nabuka. He
Yeah,
learns the
thank-
truth of his home, of
Yep.
him and Taboo's home because they both came from the same place.
Yeah,
And then Taboo shoots him and
Yep.
because
basically
he realized
he basically tells them that we're not going home. Did it ever just occur to you that we're never going home? And he's like, saying,
He's
what
the
are you
realist there.
Yeah, he's like, we're not going home. Do you understand? It's gone. They destroyed. They blew the place up. It's gone.
Well, he mentions what they did to Zaribos once they took the people out of there. They blew it all up. They raised it.
Yep.
It's
And
funny
he said-
that they did that because again, Zaribos has water,
I know.
so they just destroyed one source of water
Of course.
essentially.
Because King Hondo
the walls not be blown up. Just the physical city, the people there.
Yeah, but who's to say that it didn't get destroyed due to cave in? That's explosions. Come on, shockwave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dismissing what you're saying, Fizz.
Mhm.
It's possible that the water did survive, but we don't see it.
Right.
Which again, if we don't see it, then obviously we can say it survived.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the water did get destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I used to throw water. It just turns to miss.
But other than that, we're
But yeah,
coming in
and
about the 3 hour mark. We need to start speeding it along real quick.
Yeah.
but we're actually there. We're actually near the end because
Well-
Abul shoots,
Yeah, he's shot. He's bleeding
Yeah.
out.
and he's basically telling him right then and there what his ambitions are. His ambitions are he's going to play the game for as long as he can, and then he's going to do
then
a coup
replace-
d'etat, and
and
then
then
he's going to
replace King
replace
Hamdo.
King. Exactly.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
being a fool.
Yep.
Yeah,
And-
naive fool.
Nubaku realizes what he's done, so he jumps off the edge, and he gets to Shu, who is in the prison, and he's bleeding out, and he tells Shu that he was right about everything and that he's sorry, and then he gives him his stick, and he dies.
Yep.
It's so tragic.
He tells him, "Go back to where you belong," right before he dies.
Yep.
Go.
That is like the most powerful part of that.
I know too, and see, I was getting for some strange reason, I was getting this image in my head is when he's telling him to go home, he's like probably telling him, "Go back to your world. Don't let your world become this."
Mm-hmm. Tall aura there.
Yeah, that's a tall order, but he believes in Shu. Okay, in that
At
moment,
this
he
point.
realized that he's ready to believe.
We didn't really touch up on Boo's death that much.
No,
I know. It's kind of
because
obvious.
it hurts too much. It hurts too much.
Right. Yeah.
Soon got
Yep.
killed same way, same day.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. You would have thought Soon would have lived.
No, not
Nope.
really. I assume she's gonna die.
Right. You being the omniscient one.
Yeah.
No, but but that still hurt though. Doesn't change the fact that it still hurt.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
it's good that some media do depict children getting harmed or killed, but you can't fight off the feelings of the pain of watching them get hurt
Yeah.
and be like that.
Oh, okay. Then you might not want to
was
read
so
some
sweet,
of
too.
my comics, especially ones that involve mind slashes. Like I said,
It's okay.
I think what I'm
I'm not saying I'm going to avoid it from now on. What I am saying is, it's good that they do depict it. Doesn't change the fact that I do get hurt over it.
Mhm.
Like say for instance in the Blob remake, the 90 version, when the kid gets
The
killed
80s
in that one.
Oh yeah, that was ooh,
Sorry, yeah, 80s.
that was it was the 80s, but
That was
man,
brutal.
that was some sheer brutality right there.
I mean, there are times I jokefully glee at a child getting killed in a horror movie, but again,
Because
it's
it
just
shows
still
that the
scary.
movie, because the movie has the balls to actually say, "Holy shit, no one's safe."
Hmm.
Yep.
Even The Walking Dead for the majority of seasons when kids do get killed, I do get broken up about it. But then I also smile because some of those kids are fucking annoying as shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Lizzie. I felt nothing for her death.
Yeah. Yeah. But getting
Just
back
stare
on
at the
track.
flowers. Just stare at the flowers. Like, yeah, you keep your eyes on the flowers, you little bitch.
But when he hands Nobuku his stick,
By the way, Scooter, I'm
Naruto
actually
hand
fighting
stick.
my tangent right now.
all right.
I'm fighting that. Just letting you guys know, I was about to go on a tangent about Lizzie. But go ahead, Schooner.
But after he gets the stick, what does Shu do? He doubles
Wrap it
down.
up.
He gets up. He gets the keys from the guard. He opens the door, knocks the guard out, and he tells everybody in the prison, free everybody else and hide. I'm going to go get Lala Roo and deal with the king myself. And before he leaves, he gets Nobuku's red scarf, and he wraps it around his injured hand, and he goes looking. And this is when, and I love it because they're pretty much in the engine. Lala Roo and Mad King Hamdo and Ambelia are kind of in an engine room of sorts, I guess, where he says, "I want you to fill this whole room with water, and if you fill this whole room with water, it'll power Hollywood, and all this kind of stuff. And meanwhile, Shu runs into Tabul and a few other child soldiers, and he makes it to the control room, and there's a big fight. And I love the fact Taboo is trying to shoot at Shu, and he's hitting all the controls. And suddenly,
Yeah, big talk for him.
Yep, Hollywood is starting to lose altitude because the control room is destroyed. And
Yeah.
Place is held up by duct tape at that point.
well, no, spit and glue at this point.
A lick and a
Yeah.
promise.
And anyway, so Shu comes falling in. He hits the ground, and he just. I love how he's just laying into Mad King.
Oh,
I love how he's
Hondo.
laying into.
Hondo.
Yeah, Hondo. He
He just don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serves the bastard right too after everything he's put all these characters through.
He's hitting him repeatedly. He hits him to the point where his stick is cracking and breaking, and Mad King Hondo is like going, "All right, you've hit me a whole bunch of times." And I like the fact how he's just lying there like a little kid, where he's getting hit. He's like,
Please stop hitting me. Please stop hitting me. And of course, Shu, with 2 sticks in his hand now, still is beating the ever-living shit out of him.
Yeah. Again, he deserves every bit of it.
And this is also all of the pent-up rage and anger I feel Shu has been holding in. He's like, Nobuku's death was the straw that finally broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
He's like,
Because he had a chance to change him. He was almost getting through to him at that point. To some degree.
especially after Boo was killed.
Yeah.
But after
I
he
think that there was a moment where he chastises Nabuka about Boo's death and Soon's death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does.
That was where he was like really close to reaching his breaking point.
That was it. Yeah. After Soon was shot, Soon was shot. Shu runs out there and he gets the gun. He loads it, points it at Nobuku, and intentionally shoots the ground.
Can't bring himself to do it.
He just tells himself, "No more killing." Do you see what happens when you kill?
Yep.
And he's not making a strawman argument there either. He's not even being preachy about it. The only way you could ever the only way you can miss that mark by a long shot is if nothing happened for them to make that argument. Told, not shown. Like if they were talking about, Hollywood has invaded Zaribras and they wiped out a lot of people and I heard that Soon and Boo were killing the excursion, and that's where Shu makes that argument. It's like what, you didn't see that? How would you know? Like what like at this point you're preaching to him or you chastising him, but no, they're in the midst of 2 people dead on both sides. And he's telling them, this is what happens. Violence beget violence. It begets more violence, and it's a cycle. But let's speed this along.
So after the stick breaks on Harambe.
Hondo.
I know. Hondo.
Schooner, you're hungry, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. All right.
We all are. That's why I'm trying to speed this up.
After it breaks, he gets a gun. He's getting ready to shoot Q, but that's when Lalaru decides enough is enough and begins producing water. And she just fills it through the ship. And Lalaru asks Shu to take her to the top of Hollywood, as Hollywood is descending. So they go to the top, and Lalaru decides to unleash her water power and bring water back to this world. And it's during the flooding. All of the bad guys are more or less killed, and the
rapist redeems himself for a brief moment
by saving the kid. And some of the villagers are trying to survive, and then it ends just like the first episode, where, well, not the end, but
Taboo dies as well. He drowns.
Of course.
Well, speaking of drowning, freaking Hamdo basically drowns in an ironic sense.
In a tube, like
Full of water.
full of water, almost like it still almost happened to Stuart Little.
Yeah,
Mhm.
basically he's I call it irony because he's once again crying out for Abelia to save him at this point where
She
he's
lets him die.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
karma essentially. He
like
wanted water.
she
He's
basically
got
just
it.
like, well, it's basically saying like, son, you brought this on yourself. Basically, mama is snipping the strings, right? Like she's cutting the umbilical cord on his ass.
I
Again,
think if you want my
water.
honest opinion,
Ironic.
yeah. Oh
Go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead,
I
Schooner.
think she looks at him and not saying you deserve every bit of this. She's very solemn as she watches him die. She is watching and it's like, I loved the idea of you, but not you, the man. I
Well,
want
the
to.
thing is, at that point, I think in the midst of that, he's already showering praise to Lala Roo in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you already have two women that hates Lala Roo. You have Sarah that hate her because of the terrible things that were done to her due to the fact that she carries the same face as Lala Roo. But then you also have Abelia because my theory, you know, Mama don't like my girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, it's like she or here's another way you can look at it. And I forgot to bring this up too on the other side of the coin. She's basically fiercely loyal and devoted to him, right? She's doing all this shit for him, and yet he's only showing his gratitude and appreciation to Lala Roo. Yeah, he does
Who hates him?
praise, huh?
Who hates him? Rightfully so. But still.
Yeah, yeah. And now we also got moments where he does praise her, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, you can interpret that as faint praise
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
after because it does come after him scolding her for being a
Yep.
failure.
Yep.
And then of course it's again it's manipulation tactic, but again, like I said, like you can look at that way or you can look at it my headcanon there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like day is saved once again by Shu. I kid.
Well, no, because here's the thing. And then she's able to bring water back to the world. Shoot, it cuts to the next scene is Hollywood immersed in both land and water,
Mm,
and the sun is setting or is the sun rising? Um,
Mm-hmm.
Lala Roo says that the sun is rising and that it's beautiful, and that
And she
she says,
dies.
yeah,
and she just
pretty much.
she disappears because
She
she says
disappears.
before she disappears, Shu, will you watch the sunrise with me again? And then disappears.
A more peaceful end of Evangelion.
Yeah, she basically, yeah, they're indicating an afterlife here, and that Shu and her are going to meet again. So
Probably.
yeah, probably. So she disappears, and it cuts to everybody opting. You know what? We're done fighting. We're going to try to make a new life here. And
Now I want to counter argue Fizz's comment about the child being raised in that world. That child's going to survive because she brought water back to that world. If
mhm,
anything, water is necessary. Like food
yeah,
is one thing, but you cannot survive without water. So
not.
that child is safe.
Mhm,
Another reason why I wasn't a counter argument is because of her decision to raise the orphan children. She has
My
she mind you,
Let
we
him
don't
finish.
know. Hang on. Mind you, we don't get to see how long she's been with Zarabras, but she has been there. It's inferred that she's been there long enough to have a connection with the people of Zarabras. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong in what you're saying, Fizz, but what I'm saying is I'm totally fine with her arc here.
yeah. I hate the whole arc. I didn't need to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
So
you would think you also think I guess in your head can she would have went back home with Shu. Shu obviously she should be in Tokyo, but Shu would be helping her get back home. But then
To
again,
America, I know.
if you
but
want
then
my
again,
honest opinion,
go
though,
ahead.
it's that Sis had died, and now there was nobody else left to raise the children.
I don't know.
And
She could. I don't know. She could take them back. very easily.
She could have
True.
taken them. That is true. That is true. But
I
again,
mean, they would have better life in human world than on the Earth than on whatever planet they was on.
I
True.
agree. True. I don't think, though, in our world or in our
But
legal system, they would ever remand the children into Sarah's custody. They would all be taken in by the orphanage, and who knows where
I
they'd
know,
end up.
I know, but still have better life in comparison though. So
Yeah.
either either way, it's
hmm.
basically it's just there for the more, let's just
Mhm.
say, peaceful narrative that they were going for.
It's trying to wrap it up. I'll admit that it was
Hmm.
it was a quick fix, which is a quick fix, which I call lazy writing, but it was a quick fix. That's really
Yeah,
what it was. That was a
it
quick fix.
it's one of the downsides to a 13 episode anime,
Hmm.
that some characters don't get enough screen time to be well developed,
And
and
that's one
sometimes
of
the
the
decisions that they
criticisms.
make may seem out of place for you.
And that's one of the criticisms I have against the show is that it kind of wrapped everything up a little too neat. If it wrapped everything up a little too neat.
We don't get no epilogue with Shu. He just
No.
goes home.
Because after, Sarah decides to stay. They're going to rebuild a new world. And Bilia decides, all right, I'm reformed now, and I'm going to send you back.
By the way, imagine how Sarah's parents must feel.
Exactly.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's why I'm somewhat with you on how you feel about
Mm.
Sarah's arc there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On one hand, Shu could also go find Sarah's parents, but then again, that's gonna be a journey for him.
Well, it's a tall order because he doesn't even know who those parents are. He's never
Exactly.
even heard their names.
There's a lot of ringwalts out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'd be like, which
But yeah,
ringwall?
in a way, I somewhat agree with Fizz's criticism
Mm.
of Sarah's arc.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
he's not
Like,
alone in that
you
criticism
want her
either.
to,
I understand it's a very contentious point with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mm.
plus if she did go back, how'd you get pregnant?
Yeah.
She needs to abort the baby though. That's the thing.
She could.
And that's one of the criticisms I have of the show is that Shu goes back to his world and then that's it. It ends with him picking up his stuff that he left down at the bottom of the smokestack.
It's almost like he woke up from a dream.
Yeah, almost like he woke up from the dream, which you could interpret that entire thing as a dream.
No, not
Would've
really.
been-
Couldn't be.
Would have been a quick cop out though.
That would
That make any sense. That wouldn't make no sense. It could have been a dream.
Why would he
if it
suddenly
was
start
raining,
dreaming about? Yeah,
if it was rain, why would there be a teleport? Why would be a teleportation device to get out of the rain?
Yeah.
but then again, it ain't a dream because the damaged building is still damaged.
Yeah.
Right.
And he just watches, and Shu just watches the sunset, and that's when we get the end credits. And I'm just like, that's one of the criticisms I have. The final episode is a quick fix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that, but the resolution comes like, if I could get the words out here. Like, the thing is, it waits a little bit too long to get to a resolution as well. Like the resolution
Mhm.
could have easily been like spread out a bit more, instead of just
All
in the
this gushing
final
we
episode.
did, and this is where we end up at.
Hey, am I wrong or something or what?
No, you're not wrong. I'm just saying. I'm just stating that it took us 3 hours to get to here. It's like that same thing that happened with us when it came down to the Van Helsing movie,
Yeah.
the rewatch. It's like
Yeah.
we the young people versus the adults in that whole train.
Yeah.
and strangely enough, the young people end up agreeing with the adults near the third act of the damn movie.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it's kind of like, it's kind of like the way how we were going through. It's like we're going through the motions, but it does kind of leave a bitter taste in our mouths when we reach the end.
It's a bittersweet ending because throughout the entire series, it's been going one way. It's not, and it's not that it's a terrible ending. It just looked like an ending that was everything needed to be wrapped up beautifully in a bow by the 13th episode, and don't get me wrong. I think the third act with Lala Rue flooding Hollywood was awesome. because
Yeah.
that's the ultimate karma, using the greatest resource in the world as a weapon against those who believed,
It's almost Miyazaki.
who naively believed that they could control nature.
Mm.
And
Be careful what you wish for. You may just get it.
yeah, no problem with Hondo's death.
Yeah,
His
he
was the
deserved it.
ultimate. That was
I know.
karma. That was the ultimate karma.
I know.
Yeah.
But the resolution when Hollywood crashed, and then they all just say, Sarah says, "Oh, I'm just going to stay here, raise the child, yada yada." All the villagers saying, "Hey, all's good now. Let's rebuild a new village." And then Shu just going home at the end.
Yeah, that make any sense, especially considering that Sarah could easily just took the kids with her. I mean, it's not like they have any parents. Nobody's gonna miss them.
Fizz.
Now, if they had
Yes.
spread it out to maybe here's what I think they should have done is that maybe they could have spread, like what Brian said, is that they could spread that out for like 3 more episodes. Okay.
I will say this: if we want to get into that kind of talking point, what the question of what we could have done to improve it. I know where Fizz would say he probably would have removed the whole sex slave scenes
Yeah.
with Sarah's story,
Mm.
and use that to capitalize more on developing more characters and everything, or rather. But I don't want to put words in your mouth, Fizz. Go ahead and voice your thoughts. Let's start with you on what you could have done better. Not just the ending, the story overall.
Okay, I'll remove the whole Sarah plot instead, completely. Instead, focus on more on. Okay, we have a lot of stuff in the child souls already. We already got that, but we don't get that much. We kind of cockneyed at the end. Is the whole what's that? Bars we call the city. We call
Sorry, bars.
Zari bars thing with the whole uh
Alamba.
Alamba and Lamba sis arguments, like kind of hackneyed at the end. So we need to get more expansion on that actually, and more
Yeah.
on the offense most definitely, characterization of offense most definitely.
True.
What about you, Schooner?
Far be it for me to disagree with Fizz, but I would have kept the Sarah arc, and I think we could have expanded a little more on it. I actually would not have changed a whole lot. I would have expanded the final act into maybe 2 episodes, where Hollywood crashes, and the community, this would be the moment where the remaining soldiers and the villagers are getting their weapons and getting ready to fight each other. That's when Shu can come out and say, enough fighting. Too many people have died. Let's start working together.
That whole shindig.
Yeah, that whole shindig. And then it would cut to maybe an epilogue, which would show that maybe for like the next few months, everybody was salvaging what they could from Hollywood, and you see that they have made a small village. And Belia, who is now reformed, said that she got the machine working and could send them back. And Sarah would already be, like I said, a few months pregnant, and she decides not to go back, that she's going to stay because she wants a life here, because she wants a life in this world. In this world, she now sees where her purpose can be, whereas if she goes back to that world, her life is unknowable. In this world, she chooses to decide. Anyways, but that was
slice of life realization there, kind
of. A slice of life.
No, not slice of life. Coming of age.
Yeah, and that's when she tells Shu at the very end that he was right, that all you had to do was live and stick with it, and as bad as things may get.
We didn't really get that between her and Shu.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Earlier. Yeah, he did.
No, I'm talking about at the end.
Oh, the end. No, exactly. No. He's went back home, and she didn't go back home for no reason. There's no reason for her to stay at all. Like literally in the story, there's no reason for her to stay. And she's gonna have a crappy life here.
Yes.
Exactly.
So at the end,
I,
yeah.
I, I agree with you there, man. But
Mm,
we're talking in circles now.
exactly.
So
We're,
she
we're,
tells
we're on
him
the
that
what we can do better. But continue, Schooner.
he basically says to him that
He's
you
improving
know,
on the ending actually, though.
he says to him, "You were right that you just got to hold out long enough and things can work out and stuff like that." And she tells Shu to and she hits Shu on the side of his shoulder or on his arm and says to
Like
him,
sis.
like sis, and says to him, "Don't change who you are." And Shu, says goodbye to Sarah. He says goodbye to all the kids. And he turns around and is getting ready to leave. And on his hand, that instead, like instead of a bandage, in his hand, he has Lala Ru's pendant. And he goes home.
Mm.
And the series ends with him, instead of he sees his stuff there, and he's looking at the pendant, and he's like, stroking it as he's staring at the sunset.
Right, because it was still sunset when he left, and time
Mm-hmm.
is really rather in a strange way, time is different than on Earth than it is in their world.
Yeah.
Dominic, you've been silent. Out
Is he even
before you
back here?
before is he even around? That's the question.
I see his name up there, but it looks like his mic is still muted.
He's still muted. Oh, right, we're gonna pass him by. Brian, what would you have done?
I think I would have pretty much said what Schooner had done, but I might have added even a little more to Shu. Maybe he's part of it where he might be talking to one of his friends from the beginning of the story, and like,
Give an
hey, where'd you get?
epilogue.
Yeah, as part of the epilogue, and he's like, where'd you get that pendant from? And he would just say a friend or something like that.
Yeah. For me, damn it, I had it written in my head. For me, probably would have this might be sacrilege. I might
Mm.
tone it down a bit.
In other words, make it not quite as dark as it was.
Well, no, I would actually give more purpose. Rather repurpose it. Like,
Oh.
say for instance, to appease to appease Fizz here.
Mm-hmm.
So how about instead of making her a sex slave, we make Sarah a concubine because she looked like
Mm-hmm.
Lala Rue.
Interesting.
Oh, look, because I would prefer King Hamdo had raped Sarah himself rather than that whole soldier thing.
Yeah, add a bit more to Hondo's skeeviness, where he
That
Yeah,
has
would be.
all the women to himself
I,
too. Now,
I agree that would have been much better in my opinion.
Yeah, it would just
Because
make Hondo
that would
just
actually
that much nastier too.
made King Hamdo even nastier than he already was.
now I would make like instead of just having a whole because I think she only has like one episode to herself, doesn't she?
Right.
One or
No,
two
she doesn't
actually.
have any. Yeah, she only has, I think, just one episode to herself.
So we got like say for instance we or rather instead of how about they're getting her ready for Hamdo and she escaped that way.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
I do
Like
like
you
that.
like you have Obelia is like painting her up, trying to freshen her up. You know, she's speaking, talking about Hamdo and how like and that's another thing that here's a criticism I have with this show too.
Right.
There's barely a dedicated episode for Obelia.
Yeah,
There really
We
isn't.
do get
Because it doesn't
scene.
need one that one. It doesn't really need one that one.
No,
That's the thing.
well that's again that's what is missing. It's like her turncoat comes out. I would say it almost comes out briefly. Like we never get no sense of her understanding how crazy Hamdo is getting or his orders, whatever. You know, we see her fed up, but she's still static. She's still static in her decision making. Yeah, she's following his orders. She's doing it in a competent way, you know, in the
Right.
service of him. And suddenly she reforms out of nowhere.
Yeah. You know what? While
I
you're
mean, yeah,
while you're if I could add
Go
to
ahead.
that,
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say while you're doing your little Belia focus episode, maybe do like a flashback where to show what Hamdo was like before all of this.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
That
let
would
me tell a
actually
story.
be that would actually be pretty cool.
Well, can I tell the damn story already?
Okay.
Okay.
Don't maybe pull out the. I'm kidding. No, but like, yeah, that's the one thing that was kind of missing because we got enough time devoted to Shu, Nabuka, Hamdo. We never really had an episode, or at least an episode, or at least enough screen time for ability to really shine enough.
Right.
There was
Yeah.
one episode. There was one episode where we literally start off with her waking up and getting dressed, which, hey, I was actually pretty fine with how they presented her. I ain't gonna lie.
Me too. Me too.
In all her glory, she ain't
Mhm.
afraid to let it all hang out.
Yep.
Okay, she's got some legs. All right, but yeah, I'm like when I saw that, I was like, okay, we're gonna get an episode dedicated to her. Nope,
Nope.
it's just her getting ready for work. Yes, we do get a few spotlights here and there, but like again, an episode dedicated to her through her perspective. Nothing like that ever happens, and I was like, man, this is what they needed for her arc to be completed.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And there's no her like there's no moment where she actually stop. I'm not saying that she has to, but it's like you have one female prisoner. You ain't see you're not seeing to it that she's not treated badly or anything, nothing like that. You don't even get the inside of her head of how she treats her soldiers
No, we don't.
Yep.
or how she views her soldiers
Yep.
at all. So that it's like, yeah, we needed at least like one episode time enough to get into to Abelia, and I was hoping that's what I would have done to improve it, and again maybe tweak Sarah's arc a bit, and instead of just her being just reduced to a slave, have her be a concubine to Hamdo
Mhm.
to really like tie everything together, like everything is tied towards Hamdo. Have you noticed that?
Yep.
Yes.
Just about
Yeah.
everything.
In keeping
Just
with
about
his megalomania.
yeah, just about everybody has met Hamdo, Shu, Abelia, even some of the outside characters, but we never really get a moment where Sarah met Hamdo, and if she did, it was off screen.
Yep.
And you mean to tell me Hamdo didn't think nothing else for her?
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
it's like given what Hondo how Hondo sees everybody, it's like you mean to tell me he would not use her as a concubine?
Mhm.
I mean, we've seen stuff like this in Samurai 7. I've seen Berserk where you got the Duke of what's that castle called? Tudor.
Mhm.
And he's basically Baron Harkonnen.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, what makes what makes that notion interesting is the fact that the child slaves look like Griffith.
Yeah.
Mm.
Think about it like that. He stylized their hair, be it their hair long or short, to look exactly like Griffith.
Just terrifying.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you mean to tell me Hondo could not have been like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably would.
Exactly, especially with again with Sarah looking like Lala Rue. Like you mean to tell me he did not prioritize her at all? Like he could have dressed her up just like Lala Rue, you know,
Mm.
and when Sarah give him back talk backhand,
Mhm.
he's like Lala Rue don't talk like that, and as when I think about it, she doesn't say anything.
Yes.
Never a moment. That's what I'm saying. Like that's how tweaked up her like per satisfying Fizz.
Yeah.
By the way, Fizz,
What?
It ain't my job to satisfy.
But for you, I make an exception. For
Like
you,
how
I
he
make an
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
for you,
Yeah,
I make an exception.
I prefer with the Hamdo over the nameless guy because they always
Just
get this
nameless.
name
He was
nameless.
just using,
I know.
just essentially using her as a whore.
Yeah, we always get this nameless rapist trope in anime for some reason. I mean, we also had that Elfen Lied manga, the manga of Elfen Lied. By the way.
Oh
We're not
yeah,
going to cover that, Fizz.
no,
We're not going to cover
no.
that. You talked ad nauseum about that.
Mm,
please
But
no.
Mhm.
however,
Yeah.
however, we could probably do an anime spotlight for Elfen Lied.
Hmm.
why? It's already famous.
Shut up. It is. You're right. It is. But I'm not saying soon. Not anytime soon. Probably next year.
Right.
Um, I do got a lot of ideas though. A lot of anime that. First and foremost, Higai J. I definitely want to talk to you guys about Higai J. And I've been scouring the net to see if I can find Higai J anywhere. Best thing I could do is YouTube, but the ones that are like
Uh,
an hour. What?
let me look for it right now. Why you talking?
Huh? Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna look for it right now. While you talking?
Share it in the
Keep
MeWe.
going on.
Share it in the MeWe.
I will.
Okay.
But but we're definitely going to be covering the Boy and the Beast towards the end of the month.
Mm.
Okay.
I
Pretty
already saw
soon
the movie
after we
already.
talk about Man in Black trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
which
Very cool.
we'll be having Leia Plus Size with us for that. And with that being said, guys, overall thoughts. I like this show.
Me too.
Other than even though I have my criticisms and reservations of it, I can always revisit it.
It's for me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut in. For me, it's a great show. It really is good at really showing the horrors of war. Very anti-war message, and I like that. Um, it's also the only criticism I really have is that I think it ended too quickly.
Yeah. That's about
Uh,
my
uh,
thoughts on it.
I think it's okay, but I probably won't rewatch it. Probably won't rewatch it. It's kind of falling in the same category as that. Something else. I can't think of the name right now.
Was it Too Bleak Stopped Caring?
No, it's not that. It's something else. Some other show. That's falls the same category. I forgot the name right now. Might come back to me.
Okay.
Dominic, if you're still there, overall thoughts. Probably tending to his animals.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, your overall thoughts.
Well, it was it was definitely tough to watch because it was so bleak for much of it, and the turnaround comes pretty late in it. But overall, I think it was a pretty good watch. Uh,
Me, again, I can revisit it anytime soon. That's the reason why I wanted to revisit it with you guys, just to talk about this, because I'm pretty sure nobody's never heard of it.
yeah.
Now, quick question:
Hmm.
how are you guys,
I'm,
Negro?
what?
Was you
No.
feeling with?
I said you cut off. You cut off. You kind of cut off.
My bad.
Some on my computer. You kind of yeah. So I didn't hear what you said.
My bad. No. Well, the question I was going to ask: how are you guys with all female action?
I
I'm
love it.
down for it. What you
Uh,
got?
I got a problem with as long as it actually has a plot.
Because I would like to spotlight Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo
Ooh,
4040. Sorry,
I love
2040.
it. I love it.
ooh, good choice.
I've heard of Bubblegum Crisis. I heard of Bubblegum Crisis, but I never watched it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now again, so yeah, that's what we'll be tackling. Let's see. So 23rd we're doing Men in Black. The 30th. We're doing Boy and the Beast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
On the 7th, that should give us enough time to watch Tokyo 2040.
Ooh,
Mm.
nice.
We'll be talking about Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040, specifically Tokyo 2040. It's a remake of the 80s version.
Oh, it's a remake.
Mhm.
Mm, which
Fun fact: the original guys who did the original Bubblegum Crisis, went on to do Tenchi Muyo.
Oh, interesting.
awesome.
Hmm.
And
Come on, wait. It's time to send the private chat right
okay,
now. They ain't so I got in. So hold on. Wait for the computer to respond.
I got nothing. But
My
another
private.
idea. You guys are good with watching the Appleseed movies.
Yeah.
We'll start with the first movie.
Okay, what's Apple about? What's Apple about though?
Appleseed?
It's dystopian, but utopian as well. A bit of
Mm-hmm.
cyberpunk, somewhat. Stars a lady and her robot husband.
Yep. Who has a bunny rabbit for
Okay.
a head?
Yep.
Okay.
Fish, just watch it. Kidding. Oh, nice. Thank you for that, Fizz. Yeah, we'll be. All right. Forgot about Kiss Anime or yeah,
WCO stream.
yeah. So yeah, before actually, yeah, Tokyo 2040 first, and then we'll do Higai J.
Sounds cool to me.
Two anime that Fizz probably never heard of, or one of them he has heard of, or any of you guys have never heard of. But I would like to tackle Higai J because hardly anybody talk about Higai J, and probably nobody has heard of Bubblegum Crisis, specifically
I have.
2040. You have, but yeah. So that with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us and those non-existent motherfuckers that kept tuning in and dipping out. I'd
Right.
like to thank my compadres, starting with the Schooner Tuna.
Coming at you live from a secret government facility buried deep underground, but has excellent Wi-Fi. This is Schooner Tuna. I hope you guys enjoyed our little chat of now and then, here and now, and I highly recommend anybody check this out for yourself. And like, share, and subscribe. And if you have an anime that you want us to check out, let us know in the comments. Until then, this is Schooner Tuna signing off. Bloop, 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 bloop.
We have the man, Fish Chozo.
I'll be back to talk about the Boy and the Beast because I've seen that movie and I got some things to say about that. It's
Good.
full soda mouth. Well,
Yep. Hopefully everybody has already seen it by the time we get there. We got a good window for that. And we got a good window to watch Tokyo 2040 if I have it available for you guys. If not, Fizz, you're on top of that as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, the old faithful Zoro TL might have it.
Okay.
And but while I'm looking for that, I'd like to thank as well the Maverick Hunter Saint, Brian Gilmartin.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking about now and then, here and there. And as Schooner said, if you have an anime that you want us to check out, let us know in the comments below. And don't remember to do all the things the algorithm likes. And yeah, I'm gonna take off. This has been Brian Gilmartin. No damage to report. Moving to next area.
Mike
Okay.
Curtis made a new video, by the way.
Repeat that, Fizz.
Okay.
Mike Curtis made a new video, by the way, Brian.
Boy, what did you just say?
Michael Curtis made a new video, by the way, Brian.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Thanks. I'll have to take a look at it.
All right.
Me too.
And sorry, Dominic, but I believe the Hound of the South is probably occupied with something. So by the time he come back, we'll probably be done. So thank you for joining us today, Dominic. Sadly, I'm sad that we didn't get you enough here to talk about it. Again, trying to get him to speak up more, hopefully.
Right.
I know me and Schooner take too much of the stream as it is, and I get it's hard, you know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I try my best to get same thing with you, Fizz. Same thing with you, Brian. I always make sure nobody gets left behind in this stream.
Yeah. How do you think I
I know,
did talking this time?
boy, you out your shell.
Mm.
You ain't no Ninja Turtle no more. You a salamander. Not kidding.
Well, thanks. Oh, we just lost the mic there.
Nah, I'll just mute myself real quick.
Okay.
But anyways, same thing with you, Fizz. I know you got a lot of energy in you, and Dominic as well. But like I said, like you know, I always try to make sure nobody's left behind in the discussion.
Yeah.
You guys know my MO. I always try to make sure you guys get your thoughts in.
Right.
So in the future, we'll be improving as always. We're always improving. But I don't want to take too much of your time. You guys gotta eat dinner and all that stuff. So once again, this has been your Wolf Commander Wolf 10. Hopefully seeing you guys on the next anime spotlight, which is going to be taking up the majority of the entertainment of this until we get the whole crew back and get into our usual topics. And again, reminding everybody here, you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the Wolf Fleet. That was beautiful, but nobody cannot do it the way I do it. Okay, motherfuckers, let's not make it to a competition now. But I love to end it on the blast, guys. So let's go with this blast right here.
You can feel